What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
Hello. You know what's funny is the other day, like 2 days ago, I was like, oh, you know what? I know exactly how I'm going to start the shows now. And I like repeated it in my head like 4 times. I have no fucking idea what it was. None. No clue. Guys, welcome back to episode 1 of Wrestling on the Rocks. That's right. Every show is our first show here at Wrestling on the Rocks. I am Marsh at Ref Marsh. Kev is back. Kev, tell him who the hell you are.
Again, I'm Kevlar on the Rocks with an X. Yeah.
With an X. We are joined
I still
yet
don't know
again.
where that yeah comes from, but I'm going with it.
Do it. Yeah, hit it. Hit it every time. With us, as always, more regular than himself, Clump. Say hi to the people.
Hi, people. How you doing?
He went straight for the hanky. That's right. It's Christmas time. And Clump is our resident Mr. Hanky.
And I said, hi. Oh. Christmas time. Now I'm just
Hi
that
to
whole
cheers. Sorry.
Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo. Small
Clump.
and brown comes from. Yeah.
I got like nothing for news today, guys, so we're gonna I think get right to it in a minute here. I do want to know how you guys have been.
Not bad. Not bad. I got new glasses today.
Good.
Yeah, I got them ordered. They're going to be here in like a month and a half, which is fucking ridiculous, but that's because my eyes suck.
Well, you'll never see it coming.
God damn it. No, I
Like
sat down
summer-
for my... Yeah.
Especially with
Summer
UPS, the way they're rolling right now.
Jesus, yeah. I've had so many things I've ordered, and I've been like sitting there like, it could arrive sometime between tomorrow and February.
Yeah.
It's all good, all good. Kev, how you been? We decided this weekend as a Christmas celebratory celebration, we figured out how we could finally hang out for the first time since March. We did a social distance gathering around the fire, just me and him. It's not really a gathering. I drove up behind Kev's house, went through the back gate. He had ice on the table with tongs. I brought American Rebel cigars, a la Cody Rhodes and Frank Kazarian, and a bottle of Terramano, the Rocks tequila. And we just had tequila on the rocks. It was crazy,
Nice.
but it was delightful, and it was really good. And he got the fire going. I sat on one side, he sat on the other. He already had a little table there right there sat. Man, it was like an all-night affair. Kev,
Mm-hmm.
how you feeling? How
Yeah.
you been?
I'm good. Hanging in there. The Terramano wasn't terrible. I'll tell you that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I was surprised how good it was, to be honest.
It was,
When I first came over and I thought, hey, we're gonna do tequila on the rocks. Both me and him were like, we're gonna do it. We're just doing it. We were not excited by the
Yeah,
prospect of just having a glass of tequila, though. Go ahead.
That's not it.
yeah. Yeah, I texted him. I was like, hey, I don't have any lines. Then he texts back, yeah, me either. I was like, all right, we're going to do it. And it was smooth with a TH, not an F. It was smooth. Not a smooth.
Smooth. We might not have limes, but we got balls, and we just drank that tequila, right? I don't know that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That is not a... I mean, I'm glad it worked out, but that's something whenever I hear somebody say they're going to drink tequila straight, like, even now, like, my stomach just goes, no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, why would you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and me both were just all like, fuck, I mean, there's just nothing to have it with, but I want to try it. So we did it. We went all in with it, and it was really good. It was really good.
You don't have like fruit juices in your house? Like, you can mix like
No,
tequila.
man, I'm not
with,
trying
like,
to get COVID from his house, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the alcohol kills it.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point right there. But it was a good time. It was fun. It was nice. We can't hang and not have at least be wrestling sponsored, and that's why we brought American Rebels in Terramano, because thematic.
Sponsored.
We remain thematic. Sponsored, not sponsored.
It's like very much like we're just telling them you're sponsoring us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I buy the bottle and then
without us. Yeah. Without us putting it out on the internet or anything.
What?
What was that?
Oh, producer got the bottle. So it was sponsored by the producer.
Yay!
There's no gift
Thank you.
that she likes more than sending me out of the house with a bottle of booze and on my way to Kev's. That's her favorite gift to her, is me leaving the house and going to Kev's with a bottle of booze. She's like, that'll keep him busy.
Well, sometime without the booze. Just go.
Just go. Just fucking go
Shoot.
already.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm back. Why is my key not working? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably wrong key. Don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Guys, there was only one bit of news I wanted to say real quick. We didn't sponsor them this time, but Mission Pro did have a show over the weekend called Run It Back, and they did crown their first champion. Still available at TitleWrestling.com. I suggest checking it out and watching it for yourself. It had a bunch of fantastic matches to include. We saw Thunder Rosa and Allison Kay get a little physical, and now they're talking potential cage match. So just a really cool thing they're doing over there. Really enjoy the product that they have, and we will sponsor again, but we just didn't sponsor this one. I just wanted to shout them out real quick.
Yes. Cheers to them.
Yeah, cheers. Oh man, let's get into that real
So
quick.
Mark, I was gonna say, what's in your glass? You've been slacking.
Dude, I cannot figure it out.
Have an empty glass over here.
Yeah. I'm going to have Tennessee Honey. I'm going to do that. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Sponsored, not sponsored. I'm just going to have it straight on the rocks. Kev, what do you got?
I'm just going with the OG Purple Crown. The original.
Purple Crown. Purple Crown.
Hey, don't stop. Keep going.
I don't know the rest of this. I got lemonade iced tea from Starbucks. It's an Arnold Palmer. And then I have Pellegrino in a plastic bottle because they didn't have glass bottles. So I feel fancy, but not fancy.
Fancy yet destructive.
Yeah, like fancy, like a fake Rolex.
Oh. He is starting a new business, ladies.
Yeah, fake Rolexes. I'm gonna get you guys like two like the worst gold ones I can find, and it'll be like when Ric Flair retired and he's like, Shawn Michaels got me this, and you're like, cool.
Yeah, it's like green on his skin underneath. And you're like, wait a second.
The shit ticks.
Yeah. All right. Well, cheers to Mission Pro. Cheers to good times with bad people.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa.
Ooh. Ooh, there's a lot of honey up in that. No? Ooh.
Also sponsored by me.
Oh, yeah, producer. Bring in the heat. Guys, I think I'm ready to just get right into it. I don't have... The only other note I have written down, this is how you know it's going to be a good show. Ironics!
No. No.
Yes.
Be it.
That's me and Kev as a tag team clump. What do you think? The Ironics, spelled with 2 I's.
You.
Yeah, I love it. Guys, the show opened up. So you guys ready to get into SmackDown? You ready to talk about SmackDown?
Let's do this.
I'm happy to get into
What
it.
else are we gonna do?
I know. It opened up with Sasha Banks and Carmella. They were trying to do a contract signing. Sasha Banks brought on, for the first time on SmackDown, the old stamp signature. It is officially, she's officially brought it on now on all brands. It's been on NXT, now Raw, and now SmackDown. So just kind of a cool thing. I'm glad she's bringing it back. She had stopped doing it for a long time. But then again, she might not have been in any contract signings for a long time, to be honest. But either way.
Just there collecting dust.
Just in time, 211. I like the name.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through, man. Let us know what you're drinking, too. Guys, what do you think of this segment? Started off with Carmella alone in the ring, or not Carmella, Sasha Banks alone in the ring, doing her thing. She gets all mad about Carmella. She gets up on the big screen. She has her little lackey come over. She signs it, sends it down to the ring, and then Sasha beats the shit out of some dude. And her shoes come off. So Wiki Feet wins once again. Almost every SmackDown. Guys, what'd you think? Kev, we'll start with you. What'd you think of this?
I mean, it was interesting that Carmella, just kept her distance and sent her lackey, as you would put it. I forgot, what do they call him?
Sommelier.
Henchman?
Sommelier.
Yeah, something like that.
Sommelier.
Yeah.
Clump's a journalist.
Like
He knows
Perrier.
what do you want me to do?
Yeah. But, sends them down there with it. Here, because she's untouchable. And, yeah, I mean, it was all right.
I liked it. I liked the tension
I don't know
that it
why
brought. I liked Sasha knocking that dude around a little bit. I thought that was all right. In the chat, Fabtina brought it up. Sasha looking a little bit diva with the bikini top. Producer did say on the way down the ring, it looks like Sasha may have taken Carmella's clothes. And I was like, what? And then I saw and I was like, oh, okay, I see what you mean. She's out clubbing. Clump? Yeah, I was all like, what happened? I was like, I step out of the room for 1 second, and Sasha just takes Carmella's clothes. I was like, what the fuck happened? I still hear the music.
As soon as you said that, all I envisioned was like a puppy being fed that's like running into the wall because they're trying to get to their food.
Yeah.
I envision Marsh doing it.
Clump, what'd you think of this whole segment?
I liked
it a lot.
it. Yeah, no, same. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. I haven't seen a lot of Carmella back, so seeing Carmella in the ring, hell yeah, it's a cool new character. I kind of like the assistant idea, the sommelier, just because I don't know, I still get excited when I see the kind of flip of the stereotyped role that we've seen for long over and over again of the female manager, chaperone, whatever the hell we'll call it, that is attached to a male superstar, to see this role be portrayed by somebody who gets their ass handed to them by two very competent women. Fuck yeah, tight. I thought it looked cool. I like the boss stamp, and I like that idea of let's just fight now. Fuck it, let's just do it now.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It didn't feel like what we've seen so much with we've all complained about champions just challenging other people. This was that, yeah, but it just felt better,
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess that's a nice little something to think about too. So Carmella was talking about in this promo about something along the lines of being a sexier champion or bringing sexy to the title or something. It was something along those lines.
Sexy back.
Kind of a sexy back line, but it wasn't exactly that because she's not trying to rip off the classic J. Timberlake platinum winning album. But she did have that kind of feel to it. Sasha was dressed a little more revealing than normal, so it did start to feel a little divas-ish. But it's a good point to say that the whipping boy of the whole thing was literally a man, and so it does show a change in dynamic of power that we typically wouldn't see. So it does add a little bit of a flair to that too. But what I think is, and we can talk straight about the match too. It is what closed the show. The show was the main event. Did you guys want to wait till we get there, or you want to just talk about it while we're on topic?
Just jump into it because
I feel like just jump into it because it's the same story. So this is the first time we've seen Carmella in a match in months, and I do think I thought it was a little bit weird that they were going to do the title match here and not at TLC because that's where it was booked, and so I started thinking, are they going to try and mess something around? I was hoping for a kind of a schmoz finish because otherwise it's just them trying to get the match off the card. A lot of people online are petty, and it's hysterical to me, but they thought that this had to do with the fact that Snoop Dogg was announced for a show on AEW, And they're like, oh, they're taking that title off of Sasha immediately.
No.
It's like, what? I was like, there's petty, and then there's
Damn.
like, what are you talking about?
When it comes down to it, like, I'm sure if all control was there, WWE would love to, be able to say, hey, Snoop, I would prefer you not to go there. But these are entertainers. These are, celebrities. These are people outside of their scope, and they have an ability to perform and appear wherever they may. And it kind of makes sense to me because Snoop Dogg has a pretty long-standing relationship with Turner. That was where his game show was,
Yeah, that's true. He
Nothing
was on that
bad.
game show
but-
with Cody. What was that, Kev?
So yeah, but Snoop Dogg's a WWE Hall of Famer. How many Hall of Famers are they going to take from us?
I mean, I think that speaks maybe. I would say that honestly speaks more to like, why does AEW feel the need to continually go after specifically Hall of Famers? I mean, partly, yeah, like when it's a talent who's performed in the ring, yeah, that's awesome because
Yeah.
there's this like, nostalgia, this connection. But if the goal is to just bring people who have a WWE name, well, I'm kind of like, maybe you don't need to. Like at
Yeah.
what point does it become tiring? Because at what point do you build your own legacy?
Yeah, it does feel a little bit weird. Let's see. So, but it was really cool to see Carmella back in action. It's the first time we've seen her wrestle in a long time. She ends up, the match ends up getting thrown out because she starts beating the shit out of Sasha with a champagne bottle. Here's the thing I thought was weird, and Justin's sort of talking about it in the chat. He says it was a waste of time to book it on SmackDown, just more than likely give us the rematch at TLC anyways. And I get that, but we haven't seen Carmella in a long time, and everyone's talking about what Carmella looks like. And I thought that this was going to be a good showcase to get people excited for Sasha Carmella if it wasn't going to go to a finish. Because I thought maybe they are trying to actually like spin something around. I thought it was actually possible the title could change hands. But I felt like it was a good teaser because, to be quite honest, Carmella in the match itself looked better than she's ever looked. That was probably one of the best Carmella matches she's ever had to date.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong on that?
No, and she's not a bad performer, so that's not saying something like that. That's not like the same sentence with Lana. Like, they're looking great. No, like this is a different performer who's also been competent. Like, so hell yeah.
Yeah, she was looking good last time we saw her. I mean, she had a couple weird matches with Naomi. To be honest, the chemistry, I guess, wasn't quite there. But like prior to that, the SummerSlam where Becky took off, I remember thinking Carmella looked tremendous in that match. I thought she was awesome and on point. So, yeah, like you said, it wasn't that she was a bad performer starting to look good. She's been a good performer and she's looking great. So, Kevin, do you agree with that? Did you think how did you think the match went?
I think, the match went, it was great. Both of them showed up, but I didn't like the finish very much. And at the same time, like, I would have preferred Carmella going against somebody else just to get a win, saying, hey, yes, she deserves a title shot. Because she just kind of showed up, attacked Sasha a few times, and was like, I'm going for the belt. And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, no other woman in the division matters at this point.
That I can agree with. It did feel really rapid.
But that also feeds into the story in and of itself, and all of Carmella's promos saying, like, yeah, a lot of people have to work really hard.
Yeah.
I just get this stuff. I'm just naturally so good that
Just show up.
Yeah, I can just show up and go straight to the top because I don't have to try. I don't have to try.
Mm.
So it actually works to me.
I'm getting sick of these quick disqualifications in matches like this. Where Sasha's just beating her in the corner, and they're like, all right, stop it. End the match.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they counted a 5.
Yeah, but for what?
Because she wouldn't get out of the corner. She was tied up in the ropes. That's the thing, dude. You got to get out of the corner. Except, I guess, for those 10 punches on the turnbuckle. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Remember they used to do that all the time? Stand on them? 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
it was like, so for this one, you get 10 punches, but for other moves, it's 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's see. I wanted to say about it, though. was it Fabtina says not sure what they're gonna do, but she also still needs a man with her man trying to distract Sasha. I know that people are making that correlation that, you know, Carmella had said that men are obsessed with me, and I can't help it. I thought that was really funny. I didn't get the impression at all that Carmella needed him.
No, but to me, this feels more like a hired, worker. Not just a guy sitting there saying, just not.
I don't know why, but the way they got phrased sounded so weird to me, so awkward, like a hired worker.
Yeah, he's a man of the night.
Yeah, well, an employee, if you will. Yeah. Hey,
nothing alone.
Sometimes you need a professional, I guess.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Here's what I wanted to say about this. I think we've all agreed that
it wasn't just a guy that's like, oh, I love Carmella. I'm gonna be in her corner.
Way backwards. Yeah, 100%. Now here's the thing that we've all started with and completely agreed on that this is one of the better matches Carmella's had, and both Sasha and Carmella looked tremendous in the match in ring. Mm-hmm. The thing that really gets me is that the social media afterwards was saying shit like, is the SmackDown Women's title, Carmella versus Sasha Banks, the sexiest title match rivalry we've ever had? And I was like, what? Yeah. And then I started seeing people just post a bunch of pictures of Carmella with the champagne on her, with her blowing up the bottle of champagne. It was all pictures of that, and it was all about how Carmella looked. That really kind of weirded me out, because I was like, well, we were borderlining on kind of diva-ish stuff before. Carmella's in kind of this S&M kind of gear. She's talking about trying to bring things back to being sexy. And then we have a tremendous wrestling match. So it's like, it's one thing to be able to say someone is very attractive, but in today's day and age, it's not what's bringing them to wrestling like it used to, right? During the Divas age, they were it was beautiful people who were brought in to try to learn to wrestle. This is wrestlers who happen to also be beautiful people. But the focus, I felt like, shifted after the match, where people were no longer focused at all about what did they just see in ring. And that was kind of weird to me. What do you think?
Well, to me, it wasn't even after the match, because it was all this hype about, hey, like Carmella saying, hey, I'm bringing sexy, back, before the match. So I think the matches got overlooked altogether. And then, it went to, oh, well, look at this, look at that. And, Marcia and I talked about it before that, to me, her gear looks very Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, they're almost just a bra and panty match away from being back in the Attitude Era.
Yeah. A little weird. Clump, what do you think?
I agree. I think there's part of me wants to think maybe what they're doing here is trying to create this like feud as a referendum on that. Like, we've come far enough. Let's try and own what used to be women's wrestling and bury that, or the idea of women's wrestling. Let's have, Sasha bury this idea that we can get past the aesthetic, the objectification of female performers, But if we're gonna do that, I think that's an incredibly important story if you want to go down that. I don't know if you need to go down that pathway, because I think it's kind of self-evident in what has been done now. But I also am, somebody not direct who sees it in a certain way just because of who I am. Maybe a better way of doing that would be an extended feud. Mm-hmm. If this is the start of it, awesome. But if this ends at this pay-per-view, I don't know if that served to do anything. It at best, to me, kind of is very short and mellow, but it could be more. If you want to do this and push the idea of attractiveness versus competence, awesome. That could be truly interesting, but go for it rather than just, have it be on a B pay-per-view.
That's a good call. And actually, to be honest, Justin in the chat he's even thrown out kind of what you're going about as well. Says Carmella is one of those women who has always been referred to as a diva. It always seems to be about her looks, not her wrestling ability. And I think it's a really good point because like Fabtinus isn't there. She's a great wrestler. Like you said, if this is all we get, if we get to TLC and then that's it is what it was, then it's like it does feel a little bit like, okay, you just really highlighted her looks and all of that. But I really like the idea of what you said. If it extends out, if it goes on several months, this becomes a longer term storyline where she's almost using your belief in her as a diva as a way to get what she wants, to take control, to have these incredible matches, to win a championship perhaps. Like, if she utilizes that against you, then I think that's really cool.
Yeah. It's fair. I think...
Well, see...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, to me, it's almost like lazy writing. Because Sasha and Carmella haven't had any kind of, like, past. There's no history between them. And I think this is just, okay, go attack her, you know, and once again, about how quickly this has evolved into a championship match. I think it's just lazy because it's like, well, you know, how do we create animosity between them? Well, tell her she's not pretty enough, you know, and they just revert back to, you know, name calling basically, instead of actually building something.
Well, I didn't get the impression that it was like you're not prettier enough and I'm prettier than you. It to me came off more like you work really hard and you're a great wrestler and you let your wrestling speak for itself. I am also better at you than wrestling, and I'm just generally sexy. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like that she was undermining the I guess quote sex appeal of Sasha, but really highlighting her own, being like, I'm fabulous, as it were, right? Because they're trying to get away from the fabulous thing. I think they could have used fabulous either ways, but like,
Untouchable.
yeah, I'm untouchable. This stuff comes so naturally to me.
Yeah, but if you're,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but if you're sitting there saying, "Hey, I'm bringing sexy back to the title or the title picture," that means there's not sexy in the title picture.
Yes.
Yeah, but why? It doesn't necessarily mean that you are unsexy. It's meaning that you aren't highlighting that to present the title, right? It's more about, I've got the impression it was about you're trying to champion this thing around like it's a wrestling thing. I want it to be I want to take that and then put glitter on it, is like what it felt like to me. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like you're ugly. It felt like I'm very sexy. I think there's a difference there.
It felt like, to me, it felt like two 7th grade girls bickering at each other.
It is a little weird because they both come off pretty heelish in this. So
Yes. That is true too. I think they are coming off of, you know, they're both kind of heels here because if you try and think of it in that way, like Sasha, the character as the boss, it's not. I don't think it needs to be a face or a heel. I think it's a complex character. I like that.
yeah,
But I feel like in this role, the attack going at like the Carmella is such a heel. The attack that she's throwing out to Sasha, the way that she's throwing it back, it almost begs for the other party to be a face, because, you know, like when you're saying like I want to bring sexy back to the title, I get what you're throwing out, but I think you could also argue, yeah, it comes off kind of weird, you know, and when the other participant is a person who's a complex character, it's like, I don't know who's supposed to be the heel and the face here. Because sure shit, I don't think, you know, Carmella's supposed to be the face, but Sasha's not, you know, Sasha's the Stone Cold, you know? And that's good. Yeah.
I mean, she's still obnoxious and stuff.
More like The Rock.
Yeah, probably more like The Rock in that regard, where it's all like, yeah, you're kind of being a dick, but people are kind of into it anyways. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Your arrogance and...
Did you have a thought on the presentation of any of that? No? Alright. Because we did mention the entrance before, too. That it was like a more sexy presentation where... It's weird. It's weird because it feels like a sexified presentation versus a, like... Like, I mean, even Sasha comes out dancing in skimpy clothes and... Like, she'll twerk a little bit and stuff. So it's also kind of like, what is going on here? It's like battle of the two different types of clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little weird. I don't know where to stand on it. But I didn't get the impression or the feeling that Carmella was calling Sasha ugly at any point. I didn't get that impression. But I do know what you mean by it's like, I don't know.
It's like a passive aggressive, like, dig to me. That's the way I got it.
Producers, what?
I guess I don't really know where they're going with it. I don't want it to get rolled back where all the women are just now diva looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think we've come forward so much. So I just it feels like a I don't know, a fine line.
It does, because I guess if you've come forward far enough, then you can use a character like that to get a point across because it's not expected or the norm anymore. So I guess you could utilize a character in that way, as in this isn't everybody. Where before you couldn't use this character because that was just everybody. So I guess I could see that, but it's still a little weird. Justin says in the chat, he said they pretty much divified a diva. Even Carmella always meant she's a diva, and that to me affects people's takes on her wrestling. And Carmella is seemingly trying to come off as WWE's version of what Scarlett Bordeaux was in Impact, and I think that's actually nail on the head there. The whole smoke show thing.
Yes.
But I don't know. I think it's a little weird. I agree with you. I'm a little more excited about the concept of it with what you said, Clump, about like let it play out, because if this is the end, then yes, it's going to have a weird taste in our mouth. But if this goes on for a couple of months and it evolves into a whole other side or a very established character who's kind of that way to everybody, then it might be a lot easier to like get behind in some sense.
Yeah. No, I exactly. Like I think there's a lot of potential here, but also to what producer said, I think the thing that has me cautious in this is there's a point when you get past something that you can parody it because it becomes so out of the norm where it was, like we look at when we make jokes about how smoking used to be so present, and there was cigarettes were literally recommended by medical establishments, 80 years ago. We're not anywhere near that. And I think that's kind of the caution here, is that is this parodying the idea of what divas used to be? Have we gotten that far? Or, and I think if you do that, you need to give it the breadth to be there. You need to give it room to breathe, this type of feud. It can't be something quick, because if it is, then it doesn't feel like it's important.
And then also I guess it feels more like remnants and less like a parody. It's no longer, if it's too close to when all that stuff happened, it's a lot less like, oh, I'm kind of poking a little jab at the way things used to be, and more like, no, I'm still kind of never have changed from how things were just the other day. So I can see that too.
Is that if this lands a certain way, hey, we can go back to this,
Yeah.
I mean, clearly.
Guys, we didn't get too far. Don't worry. I know the way back. Don't worry. We can always pull back.
They're liking this. No, that's not what this is. They're liking this. God damn it.
It's a good point. You know who I blame? The fans. Those piece of shit internet fans who constantly say Attitude Era was the best era ever. And they always want to go, well, just look at the ratings. Well, ratings were way different back then, and people consumed TV different back then. And not everything aged well. But
there's honestly, parts of what I love in the Attitude Era are that's kind of it's that cringiness of watching an old cigarette advertisement. You're like, oh my god, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm not appreciating it like, oh, this is great. It's more like, holy fuck, this existed.
Yeah, we got away with shit back then.
Yeah, like,
I
oh
remember it
no.
wasn't that long ago. I was at Kev's house. It was, obviously that long ago because of houses.
Mhm.
Like
But
a year ago.
at least. But we were watching like Royal Rumble 2000 or something at your house, and in the middle of that pay-per-view, they just brought out women in like bathrobes, and you're sitting there and you just tell one of your kids, "Hey, you got to go to your room for something." And it's like, what? And you're like, like for what? Like, I don't know. Just go to your room. I'll call you out in a minute. Like, and we try to like fast forward through this, and as we're watching it, fast forward even, we're both like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this was a thing. This was just part of the show." Like, it felt like, it felt very circus in a sense. You know what I mean? Where it's all like, and now here comes the next people we're gonna stare at.
In
Like, what?
2000, like
Yeah.
they did the Diva search in 2004, which literally had like women sitting in pie and trying to be the most like the most like what a diva should be as portrayed by the worst parts of WWE. And you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is a bad idea.
That was the Playboy era.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, so I get it. I think that I'm with Clump on this as far as let's let it play out before we judge it too harshly too soon, but do acknowledge that it does feel a little bit weird and they really got to pull the nose up on it because like I think I agree with you. It does feel a little bit too maybe I think that's where the awkwardness comes in. Is it's not a callback to divas, it's like a leftover diva is almost the feeling. So it's kind of weird.
But see, it's weird because when Carmella first came out, and we talked about this the other day, is I liked her in the pants and the crop top or whatever,
the Jordans,
and it was something, it was something different, and then for her to just come out in like you said, this S&M gear is just like, that's why I don't feel like it's like a leftover diva. It's like hey, we're creating another diva.
Yeah, but we meant like in essence, not her specifically, but in like the mentalities left over.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. Even producer said as we were watching it, she's like, she moves way too hip hop to be wearing clothes that are just generally sexy. She's moving like she's street. And I was like, okay.
Well, not like sexy. It just her gear looked like it wasn't gonna stay. It wasn't meant for dancing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And she still dances in every movement she has.
Yeah. It doesn't look as functional as what she needs to be. Like the leotards in like the street gear worked because she moves.
Yeah. No, makes sense.
Where Rikishi can't do, Samoan drop if he's got like low rise crotch, low drop crotch pants because he's gonna tear him.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything else I want to say about that unless there's something you guys thought we didn't hit.
I really like the use of, since we went into the main event of it too, I really, really like the use of the champagne bottle. Like,
oh my god, dude, so good.
And if we're gonna throw a dig at between the promotions, I would say that's an awesome way to show AEW how to use sugar glass.
Yes.
Because like I was like, that fucking bomb. And I also liked hitting somebody in the like kidney area with it, because that to me like made me think like if they busted over someone's head, sure enough everyone's gonna think it's sugar glass, which still hurts. But if you bust it over someone's side, part of me thinks, oh shit, that might be real. Which, oh hell no, it's not, because you break bones and be bleeding and have internal bruising. But damn,
and Carmella's hand would have been bleeding too. But like, because that's the other thing too, is if you smash it and you hit it right, you're also slapping her on the back. That's a lot of great noise right there. Mm-hmm. It did make me go, oh shit, when it happened, because it visually looked so good and sounded so big that you forget. Like you laugh after a second because you realize, okay, that had to be sugar glass, but you laugh in AEW before they hit because it's falling apart already before they've struck them. And you're all like, "Oh, that's delicate candy." Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, I think it's the way that Carmella held it.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna hit somebody over the back or side with a champagne bottle, you're grabbing it by the neck and swinging it like a club. She obviously, they told her how to, smash it, like hold it, caress it, and
Wait a second.
put
Are
it
you
through her.
suggesting
Yeah.
that WWE might be filled with trained professionals and AEW might be a bunch of renegade outlaw fucks? Backyard wrestling fools who think they know what they're doing because they seen it on TV one time? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'm not suggesting it. I'm exactly.
Okay, I just didn't want you to suggest that. I would never say that.
There has been times WWE has made us question it though. Let's be clear. There's been times
Oh,
like
yeah.
that didn't work.
Yeah, there's been times you're like, what are they doing? Yeah. No, I'm just trying to get that Jim Cornette fandom. You know what I mean? Just trying to reel them in a little bit.
Getting a little heel heat.
Yeah, getting a little bit of that heel heat. But yeah, no, 100%. It's the way she held it, the way they did it, and it felt like, hey, people, here's how you do that, which is also funny because more than one podcast with old-time wrestlers reviewed that segment. They used the sugar glass in AEW and said, did no one teach them how they're supposed to hold that? Everyone was holding it like they've never seen it before. Every time I hear it, I just giggle. So that's why I thought it was funny the way you're all like, you pointed it out too. You're like, well, duh, the weight's in the bottom.
Though to be fair, if she picked it up and it AEW'd itself out and just fell apart, I would be giggling for hours and I would immediately tell you defend this shit.
Oh yeah.
Like I would have texted you that I haven't seen it yet, but I sent something in the force that you're gonna have to defend, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
So since AEW and WWE are going toe to toe on this, is Sasha and Carmella gonna have a champagne match, like the mimosa match?
We can only hope.
Mimosa. What could they do? Was it Screwball? Isn't that the? That's just orange juice and vodka, right? She's using champagne. They can't redo the. What if they did a mimosa match? Screwdriver.
No. Just a Dom P. Just a Dom P match.
Wait. So what's a screwball?
Whiskey.
Clump. It's whiskey. Oh my God! It is just a whiskey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Peanut butter whiskey.
Did you deliberately ask the recovering alcoholic?
No, because I thought it was something else.
Fuck you.
I had a feeling in my gut, Clump, that it was not alcohol that I was talking about, and I was like, Clump will know. He's from the streets. I thought you were gonna be like, it's this tool or something, you know?
Like a baseball pitch is a screwball, but that's more of Kev's alley. An 8-ball is cocaine and something, which is more like my dad being a cop's alley.
Yeah. See, you know.
Benoit balls, which go in vaginas or buttholes, which is what you're getting at.
Hashtag Bad Dragon. Sponsor, not sponsor.
Hashtag Bad Dragon.
I think we're going to get our first cease and desist from them. I'm going to be honest. More so than any alcohol company. It's going to be Bad Dragon to be like, stop.
Whenever we have the ability to do conventions again, they are a local company. I will run into people who actually work there and say, hey, we reference you on my podcast all the time. And we will get a fucking letter.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Please stop plugging our butt plugs.
Yeah, please.
Please stop plugging this. Plug this.
So good. But yeah, I think it'd be really funny if they got into some sort of mimosa match, but called it something else. Like, I don't know what you would call it. But if they did something like that, but used like an actual setup that was decent.
The Sunday brunch.
Yeah, a Sunday brunch match. So
they could
funny, dude.
Match and like have it be like Crawl and like Ciroc, just club liquors. That bottle service match.
There you go.
Yeah,
boom.
That's good.
That'll be good.
I was just gonna say a bubbly match.
It would be awesome if they did a bottle service match and they said this match cost and they gave you the liquor price of a club. Like
that'd be good.
Everything shit plastic bottles, but like, oh, that handle of Deep Eddy is $500.
Yeah, Grey Goose, $300 bottle. Is it? It is?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Only if all the bottles have sparklers on it.
Hell yeah,
And you
dude.
just see
Indoor
somebody
sparklers.
somebody like pouring water into them and then like closing them back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that whole spot with the champagne bottles was sick. It was done so well. It was just spot on. Which is also goes to my point of like I was really disappointed at the internet when I got on there and saw no one was talking about just the impact of that shot. They were talking about the sexiness of Carmella afterwards. No one was talking about just the absolute great athleticism that was happening in the match. They wanted to talk about the entrance of Carmella. And I was like, what are we're talking about everything around. Like that's, I mean, I guess that's the story, right? But at the same time, it's like no one was celebrating the idea of, we haven't seen Carmella in almost a year.
Yeah.
And she looks like better than she's ever looked in the ring. She's, not only did she not have ring rest, she looked like she hasn't missed a match or a day wrestling since we have seen her wrestle. You know what I mean? So to me, I was a little bummed by that. But like Clump said, let it play out. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it ends up.
Yep.
Anything else on that? Because that was a great call out, and I don't want to miss anything else. Because I did think that Sasha and Carmella closing the show and opening the show was fantastic.
Yes.
Am I missing anything? No.
No, I think,
the
I think it was
Nope,
a good
no.
like.
That's it. On to Raw.
Yep. Yeah. Guys, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. This thing's heating up and looking awesome. I loved the beatdown. The Kevin Owens just beating the shit out of Jay. Roman going out there and Paul Heyman just standing next to him and be like, "You don't want to do this, Roman. This is on his terms. You want to do it on your own terms." He goes, I will hold the title for you, sir. But I do not think that's what you want me to do.
I thought that was great because we haven't seen Paul like have input in a while,
Yeah.
and for him to actually be the, the council or the special council, like, hey, these are my 2 cents. You can take them if you want, but you're playing his game. It's yours. I thought that was great.
Oh yeah, I thought it was so good. I mean, I don't even have as much to say about this because it was just so good top to bottom, and I'm so excited to see Kevin Owens and Roman at TLC. Clump, anything about this segment or their interactions you wanted to hit on? And then we'll go back to Kev because he had something he wanted to say.
Weird little thing. Paul looks like he's getting in shape, which made me happy.
He did look like he was losing a little bit of weight.
Yeah, and I know that sounds really kind of shitty to focus on that, but there's been times Paul Heyman's come out, I'm like, oh man, I'm really worried about you. I was like, hey, cool. Yay, don't die. I want you around for a while. You're my favorite.
Yeah, there was one time with him coming out with Brock I don't remember what time frame it was, but it wasn't that long ago, where I started getting real Paul Bearer vibes where you're like, is he going to not go up the stairs? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. There was a point there where I just felt nervous in general about his overall health, and he does look better now than he did a year ago. So that's a great call out, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Little side note thing, but yeah, dude, good on you if you're doing stuff. Hell yeah.
Yeah, if there's one thing we know we need in wrestling, it's Paul Heyman forever.
I actually didn't see a heck of a lot of the segment.
Okay.
So
that's all right. We'll move on.
Kev, back to you.
Yeah, back to Kev. Kev, I'll throw it to you with this. Justin did say the way he directed his words to Kevin Owens' family was awesome. Yeah, I love that when Roman turned to the camera and he's all like, look, I'm going to beat the shit out your daddy.
Yeah.
go
Tell daddy,
ahead, Kev.
leave me alone.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
Oh, my God, Kev.
Oh, no, just being excited for TLC. Like, I'm excited for the match. I think it's going to be great. But, like we talked on, I think, the last show, it just sucks because we know Kevin Owens is just going to be a stepping stone in the Roman storyline. I don't think any of us will give him a chance of actually winning it.
But Owens is showing up so much. He's doing so well that it's not impossible to think that they couldn't throw the title onto him. This isn't like when someone just shows up. Like when a Jericho would just show up in a feud, or Natalya just shows up in a feud, where you're all like, look, yeah, they are former champions. They could have the title, but
like Goldberg
they're not going to take it off. What?
You mean like Goldberg and Fiend?
No, because Goldberg's Hall of Famer. He's GR Lunar's absolute favorite. You know what I mean? But like, there's people they'll throw out in a feud, or even like Lacey with Becky's run, where you're like, this is clearly a placeholder. There's no way they have enough faith on Lacey to be the one to dethrone Becky. But Kevin Owens has taken the title. So when Kevin got his first Universal title, Roman was in that match. It was like a 4-way, and Triple H got involved in all that, but he was in the match. He defended it against Roman at a TLC once before with Jericho in his corner, cheating and all that stuff, but he was a different character then. And Kevin's better now than he was then. And I would even say the same thing if we just take a peek over at Raw. AJ showed up in such a way on Raw that you're all like, they have no reason to not believe and trust in AJ. He's performing on a level like this. It's not impossible to think they could take a swerve or make a turn or a surprise and give the title to either one of those guys, AJ or Kevin Owens, because of how good they are. You know the story can get back to a point where the other person's the champion, or maybe they even move past the championship. Everyone in that world title picture right now is performing on such a high level that I don't know that it's as easy to say there's just no fucking way they're going to win it. I think that it's agreeable to say it's unlikely Kevin Owens is the one, but it's not impossible by any means. I don't feel like.
See, to me, I think it feels impossible, and I think the biggest difference between the two title matches at TLC is if Kevin Owens beats Roman, where does Roman go from there?
Oh, dude.
Whereas,
I picked up my glass and talked into it because I was. Yeah. Dude, you get Roman leveling up because Roman gets furious if he's not head of the table.
Okay, maybe. But that's speculation. Whereas over on Raw, if AJ wins the title, Drew becomes a tag team partner with Sheamus.
Yeah.
They already have that on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, but what happens is if you get a Kevin Owens win, you have Roman hunting him down like Liam Neeson. You know what I mean? Like, if Roman does lose it, he will fucking lose it. Because that he's shown in the story so far that he thinks that him being the champion is what makes all of WWE go round. And if Kevin Owens takes that from him, are you fucking out of your mind, Kevin? You can't hold up this company like I can. You get another match or two out of him, and you have Roman gunning for him, saying, no one holds up this company like me, and it's irresponsible for me not to beat you down into submission. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's not impossible.
Maybe.
And it's not nowhere to go. But
maybe
Justin in the chat does say predictability isn't always a bad thing. Reigns and Owens match, though predictable, is still going to be awesome. And I do agree with that at the end of the day. Although, like I said, I think it's unlikely Kevin Owens wins. I'm so excited for this match because I think it's going to be fucking tremendous. And if Kevin does win, then Kevlar owes me a drink. Bitch.
Is that a loss for me?
Hot dog?
Hot dogs?
Yeah, so we got hot dogs in the mail today, and now I've been screaming about hot dogs all day. It's been good.
Wait, how do you get hot dogs in the mail?
Dude, you don't get hot dogs in the mail.
No.
We got hot dogs from Chicago in the mail.
Are they those like super bright, like nuclear pink ones?
Yes. No, legit. Yes.
Oh, those are like the hot links.
Yeah. $5 hot dog. Yeah.
Love those.
All right. Well, I hate you guys.
Best thing to come out of Chicago.
I would love. Yeah, the best thing. I would find it funny, like with them. There's a lot of packages being shipped that are in extreme cold right now. If you got these are hot dogs.
It had dry ice, but that is neither here nor there. Clump. The hot dogs were delivered safe and sound. $5 hot dogs right here.
Let me give you your coronavirus vaccine, and they pull it off. Chicago hot dog.
Oh, dude, I'd have so many vaccines if they put it in a hot dog. But guys, is there anything else about Roman and Owens you wanted to hit on?
No, we got derailed by hot dogs. I think that closes it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
not a
that
good
closes
sign.
it, man. Let's move on to the other hot dogs. Let's see. Dolph Ziggler, Montez Ford, hot dog in it. That was all right. I don't have anything to say about that. Did you?
It was an okay match.
Just
It was a good
blue
match.
cups finally.
The blue cups coming out of the
Remember-
shooter. I knew you'd be excited because they brought out the blue cups
I
for
know.
Survivor Series, but it was still shooting red cups, and I was like, Kev's not gonna like
Yeah.
that. He's not gonna. He's gonna.
I didn't
He's gonna
like
say
that.
they were so close. He's not gonna like it. What was that?
Yeah. I didn't like it. I saw the blue cup. I was like, all right, there you go. You got it. Finally, you listened to us. And then out shot red cups. I was like, you idiots.
Yeah. Damn it.
But I think what happened was WWE ordered too many red Solo cups from Costco, and they were like, all right, we got to just use them up. We got one last shot in here. Just use them. Go. Before we
Well,
switch to the blue.
yeah, I
Because
wonder how that machine
Survivor
works.
Series would have been the perfect place.
Oh, it would have been the place. Yeah. Now it's just another thing they did.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw blue cups, and I was like, you missed it.
Yeah, I did like Dolph Ziggler getting the win here, though. I do like that there's a storyline going on with Ziggler and Rude. Oh, they started calling themselves the Aces, guys.
Yes.
Did you take note of
And
that?
eights.
No, just the Aces. Who wasn't Bobby and James Storm and Aces and Eights together?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
They were, right? Because I know they were Beer Money, but weren't they both also in there as well?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was in fucking Aces and Eights at one point. It was NWO, but for TNA.
Actually, I just saw a picture and yeah, you're right.
Big Luke Gallows was in
Even
there.
D'Lo.
Yeah.
Devo.
Devo. Devo.
Oh, you said Devo? Or...
D'Lo.
Yeah.
D'Lo Brown was in it as well.
Yeah.
Who was in it? Remember, Bully Ray, Brooke, Garrett Bischoff, Nux, Taz, Devon, D'Lo, DOC, Evilise, Mike, CJ O'Doyle, Mr. Anderson, Tito Ortiz, Wes Briscoe, and Leva Bates. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see anybody who we thought. So, never
Nope.
mind. But it made
You
me
were
wonder, though. It made me wonder because James Storm did say in an interview that prior to COVID, he was mid-signing with WWE, and he was about to leave and go to WWE, and he really wanted to team up with Bobby Roode again. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're kind of leaning in towards something. But they did start calling themselves the Aces, and I liked that, and it made me think that something might be coming. But now that I see the list of who's in Aces and Eights, never mind.
They're just
Ace
trying to
holes.
rip me off from the ace holes.
Yep.
Yeah, see?
Yep. Yep. See, already.
Hey, yeah. Should have
Well, they-
copyrighted that shit years ago.
Yeah.
They couldn't call them the B team.
Speaking of the B team, Sami Zayn defeated
The
Big
bro
E.
team. Oh,
Did you see the new I Am Sami Zayn t-shirt?
yes. I got mine pre-ordered. I'm
Dude, they already released it.
just-
Damn it.
Oh, did they?
They did. They put it out. It's so good. What? Oh. I tweeted out as soon as I saw it. As we're watching, I just went, God damn it. Producer's all like, what's wrong? I was like, I'm going to have to buy that shitty shirt. They're going to fucking put it on the site. I'm going to have to buy it. She's like, no, you don't. And I was like, of course I do.
Oh,
How
fuck.
bad
I
it
have
is.
to, yeah. Yeah. How about this? Merry Christmas. I'm getting... What size are you?
Not available till January 1st.
Not available to January 1st.
Whatever.
She's just throwing it out there. But it's on the shop. It's
Are
crazy.
you guys gonna?
Huh?
Nothing. I started laughing so hard at that shirt,
Yeah,
especially
it
that
was so
Sammy
good.
couldn't rip it. That was even better.
So good. Dude, Sami Zayn and Big E together are so good. They're so
Yeah, they should make
good.
them a tag team.
Hey, dude, stop. Come on. You know what they can call themselves? Ironics!
Mm. Oh, there was an echo when you did that. It was upsetting. It like
I'm getting good.
reverbed. No.
I'm getting good at this. So their backstage promo was awesome. I really liked Sami Zayn like just liking Big E's shirt, and he goes, "Oh, you got a new shirt?" And he's like, "This is really good. This was well done." Like he was just murmuring to himself about how good the shirt was, and then they showed him the Sami Zayn shirt. They also released another one that's Sami Zayn that just says "I am the Intercontinental Champion," and it's black with just white font. And I know somebody was saying that they thought that was like the worst design, and I was like, first off, this is almost identical to Austin 316 in design work. Secondly, I love the idea of Sami Zayn coming out in just a plain black shirt that just in white letters just says, "I am the Intercontinental Champion." That screams hilarious. It screams hilarious to me. Like, I just think that the way Sammy will utilize a shirt like that is going to be great.
I got an idea for you.
Yeah.
I hate you guys. I hate you guys so bad. It reminds me of all the generic stuff. Remember how they used to have like white cans that just said beans on it?
Yeah.
Or like a shirt that just says college?
I think it would have been better if Sammy...
Sport.
But I think it would have been better if Sammy had that shirt when he brought back the IC Championship. When, who was it, Jeff Hardy had it.
That would have been a good time to have that.
That would have been a better time for that shirt. Yeah, no, I'm the Intercontinental Champion. It says it on my shirt.
Yeah, pointing at it and shit. Yeah.
I'd love if like Sammy's shirts like literally like they bust in somewhere and it's him with like iron-ons. Like, I got orders.
Yeah. Hold on. I didn't think it was going to do so well.
Damn it.
What did you guys think, though, of the match itself? I thought this match was so good. Sammy just starting to run away from Big E and getting that 10 count the way that he got it. I'm telling you guys, I know. So TW Takes is a podcast that listens to us, and I've been checking out him. And
we have podcasts that listen to us?
Yeah, we've been shouted out.
Oh.
They're out of New York.
Thank you.
That's why the guy says catches an ass whooping, and I asked him, and he's from New York. So not trying to catch an ass whooping myself.
They shouted us out as in, don't listen to these guys.
Yeah. A lot of times it's...
That's what he shouted at us.
But here's the deal. They had tweeted out from the show that they hated this 10 count thing with Sami Zayn, and they said it makes him look like a weasel, it makes him look like a coward. Knowing he's so good in the ring, they just feel disappointed they didn't get to see him perform on that level. I feel like they're getting worked. Because I feel like that's the 100%. Whole fucking point.
Yeah. Well, see, and that should be a Sammy shirt. 10 is more than 3.
Yes. And I can't wait for the 5-10 match. You either win by 5 count pinfall or 10 count out.
Yeah. That'd be
no
great.
3 match.
Yeah.
But I think we're actually going to get there, guys. The way this one went, I think we're going to get there. What do you guys think? Clump, do you think we're going to get to a 10-5 match?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I just want I want the feud to continue because I like this. They work so fucking well together. 10-5 would be awesome. I mean, they're probably going to go basic and it'll be like it's going to be a no count out fucking match. But, you know.
Unless they do the opposite. The only way to win is by count out.
So we're just going to run away?
Well, no, because you have to be in the ring. So then you would just have them constantly battling on the outside, and the ref keeps getting to like 8 or 9, and someone jumps in.
They dive in.
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like that.
First time. You know how many times WWE likes to say first time ever? It's the first time ever a count out's going to decide the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I support that wholeheartedly. Or a cage match, but
go
Sammy,
on.
Have a cage match and Sammy like somehow like he pins like his hand that like the cast under it. It's like, oh my god! So they lift it up, like, but he somehow is able to do it right before, like right when they ding the bell. So then he crawls out and he's like, I escaped the cage.
Yeah. And it would be funny for Big E to actually win a count-out only match and be the first ever champion crowned by count-out.
Yeah.
So funny.
You heard it here
Justin
first,
does say,
ladies and gentlemen.
What? Yeah, you heard it here
You
first.
heard it here first, ladies.
10-5 or 10 count only match. Justin does say in the chat, Big E solo run, and this is something people have been talking about, so I like this. Let's talk about it some. Big E solo run seems like it just comes off as a joke to him. He has a chance to be a breakout star, and he just won't drop the New Day antics. And Sami Zayn needs to start getting wins outside of always winning by countout. It's not making him look strong as a champion. I think that Sami Zayn isn't trying to look strong as a champion. He's trying to look smart as a champion. And I think the whole point of Sami is not that I am a stronger, better competitor. It is I am a smarter individual. He's very Andy Kaufman here. He's very I'm from Hollywood and you're from Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis. He's going to start coming out with toilet paper at some point, saying this is toilet paper. Here's how you use it. He's going to start trying to explain how to say soap and spelling it out. Like, I feel like that's the level of cowardice we're getting from Sami Zayn, but that level of arrogance as well. I'm so smart.
It's gonna be Canada versus USA again.
Yes,
I'm from Canada.
I'm from
you
Canada.
Idiots from America don't know what you're doing.
You're from America.
America.
What do you think, though, about... Because that's how I feel about the Sami stuff. Unless you have something else to say about it. Let's talk about the Big E solo run. Do you think he's taking it as a joke? Do you think he needs to drop the New Day gimmick? I like the stuff we've seen on Talking Smack. Did you guys both saw the Paul Heyman thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I like the new music. I like the new entrance. I don't think he's separating himself. Like, I don't think he needs... Well, one, he can be multiple things. And I think him being connected to the New Day is important. Because that shows you don't have to separate. But he's also defined himself. If we just pigeonhole him in and say he's just part of the New Day, no, he's doing a lot separate. And if being silly, being multidimensional means that you're still part of this team, aren't we just kind of narrowing what they are to one thing? Because it's still unique, it's still different, it's still Big E. I mean, even within the New Day, Big E is different than Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, you know, in the podcast. He's still different. So this is him being him. I'd rather him be this than be something like a just basic, quiet, silent, you know, I'm gonna dominate you babyface. And I get cautious. I get worried when he says things like "get in here like a man." Like at the end of the match, Sammy, I was like, man, I wish he didn't say that shit. But if he said it giggling, I might be okay with it, you know?
Well, but I think that it's also like I like what Paul Heyman was saying in that Talking Smack, where he said, in the career of Big E, the New Day is going to be a footnote in what people talk about because you can go to heights so grand. He goes, when was the last time Roman Reigns got in the ring? And I said, that's the guy from The Shield. You know, I do appreciate and I like the idea of that, but I also think there's a reality to just switching it off. And I think that if he just showed up and he had new music, he had a new entrance, his gear was 100% different than New Day, and he didn't do anything like the New Day at all, it would be a little weird to like, what just happened? You know what I mean? It'd be like, this isn't Big E, but I think these little changes as he goes, I think eventually he will break away, but I think it has to take time. Otherwise, it's going to feel like your friend showing up one week in a varsity jacket and then the next week in completely goth gear and a top hat with eye makeup, and you go, whoa, 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 this isn't at all, you know what I mean? What just happened? You know what I mean?
But see, I don't think it has to be that drastic because right now they're coming out to the same exact color scheme, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Like what is it, blue and yellow, I think it is right now? Yeah. Like Big E just changed the colors. You know, and I said this on our last episode one, that I think it'd be cool if they did like a new or an NWO, like when Shawn and Diesel would talk to the camera to the other one. Yeah. You know, yes, they're in the same company, but they're on different shows. You know, I would love, you know, like I said, Kofi to look at the camera and said, "Hey, E, I see you on Friday nights," or, you know, whatever. You know, tell Sammy, you know, what's up, something like that, or and vice versa. But I do think he needs to change. They change his music, but they need to change at least the color of his gear. Keep the gear the same. Keep it New Day-esque, but at least change it so they're not identical to Kofi and Xavier's.
Sam Roberts wants him in trunks, just straight up like trunks.
I like
are
that
tie
for
dye,
him.
and he wants him in tie dye.
No, I don't
Because
know
then
about
it's
that.
just close enough
But
to
then
New
how-
Day, but just far enough from New Day as well.
But-
I don't know how I feel about it.
But then how can he hide stuff in his singlet? I like how he hides things in there.
He doesn't do that anymore.
He can.
It's a decision.
Like,
What were you gonna say?
like that ridiculous tire iron.
I was gonna say, like, I think so. Part of it, I like the idea of him in trunks because he's a tank. So yeah, hell yeah, he'd look awesome. I don't know. I think another maybe, and this might be just me overthinking things. I think in a good way, is because they keep pushing the idea of you need to get past things, and he's kind of pushing back. Maybe that is part of the story. They're already telling it in a good way. I think it's meant to be a bigger meta, why can't you, do I have to try, am I part of a team, and connected to my friends, but does that not allow me to be myself,
Yes.
And I think that good.
Go ahead, finish it.
I was saying, I think that might be a more interesting thing because we maybe don't necessarily need him to separate.
Right.
I think that could be fascinating.
Exactly, but I also think that you hit the nail on the head saying I think that the story might be a little bit more meta, and we might be seeing it inside of there. I try not to shout out too much of Sam Roberts' stuff on here because we definitely do have differing opinions on a number of things.
Sam Roberts
One
counter.
thing that, yeah.
Two.
But something he brought up he did an interview with Chris Van Vliet, which was pretty good, so check it out. He mentioned that the new kayfabe is that there is no kayfabe, but that's the kayfabe. That if a wrestler tells you, oh yeah, kayfabe is dead, they're about to kayfabe your ass. And so the idea that all these conversations are happening with Big E, with Miz, and with Paul Heyman, and it's so real because this is how people are talking, and it's there is no kayfabe, and the fact that Big E is responding the way that he is, as though it's a different thing, that therein lies your kayfabe. And I agree with you 100% that I think that therein lies the story. That the story is that they know that this is the narrative. Let's let it play out instead of just making the decision. So if they said, yeah, we do want to break him away from New Day, we want him to not come out with their music and come out with a different entrance, and we don't want him to wear the same gear, we want him to be his own thing, we want him away from New Day, why would they just, boom, hey, go roll out there and be 100% different, or turn it into this multi-month conversation where everyone is talking about Big E should do this or shouldn't do this, and oh, did you notice this, and oh, look at what Paul Heyman said to him here. They're really feeding into this like it's real. And I think I think it falls in line with what both Klump and Sam Roberts have both said.
Yeah. But also when it comes to his gear and he needs to come out in trunks, Big E's always come out in that singlet. Like even when he was solo beforehand.
I don't think he did in NXT, but I don't care so much about the trunks.
I don't know about NXT.
I think I'm fine either
I was just
way
talking. Yeah. But I think that's him, his individuality.
Oh yeah.
Within those just trunks, or singlet.
I'm not saying he has to change his gear, but like you said, if he changed even the color scheme, that's a decision. And I think that the way they're breaking it down this way and making it this month-long conversation, fantastic. They got people talking about Big E forever. Like I see that as a positive, as a win. Klump, what do you think?
I agree with that. Yeah.
All right.
I want to see it go. I honestly, I'm excited because I just like Big E. So seeing more of it, let's see where it goes. Let's keep doing this.
100%. And I think my investment lies in something similar here to what Justin said, that he wants Big E to look like he's taking it more serious and to not think it's a joke. And I think that there's a reality to that mentality, but there's also reality to the fact that that was his original mentality that got him nowhere. So he's going to have a little bit of both at least, because you've got to do what got you to the dance. And him being a stoic, serious character who was just an ass kicker got him to the IC title one time and then into obscurity until he met up with Kofi and Woods and they said, hey, let's try something crazy and off to the races. So I agree with the idea that you got to do what got you to the dance, but also we're clamoring to see a mean fucking Big E again. So I think that this storyline, this mentality of is it a joke to him or not, is keeping me invested to watch each thing and love each little twist and each little thing. Like you said, where he seriously said, get back in here like a man, is showing a frustration with him, where it shows a level of I'm taking this serious and you're fucking with me. You're messing around with me, Sammy, and I'm trying to have a real fucking match in here and prove that I deserve that title, and you're goofing off. And Sammy's like, no, I'm not goofing off. I'm just smarter than you. You know what I mean?
I get, yeah.
That's how I'm seeing it. Go ahead. I mean, that's why I like having these conversations with you guys, because like we all kind of come in with these little frustrations of this story and that. It's like, but I think if we pull back a little big picture, we can kind of almost get into a real like, hey, like here's the nitty gritty of how I'm seeing seeing this match play out with. And I can understand where you're like, I wish he was jokier, and I'm like, well, I love that he was serious because it showed that he's frustrated. But I also love that Sammy's mocking him. No, I'm smarter than you. So funny. I
want to, yeah, and I think also part of this, I'm not talking about Sammy enough. I truly love the feud here with Sammy.
Yes.
I don't know if I want. The only thing I don't like about this feud is I don't know who I want to come out ahead. Mm-hmm. Because I want. I want Big E to get a belt, but I don't know.
But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, there's not many times where you sit there and say, hey, I just want good matches, and, you know, whoever comes out, I'm happy with. You know, every match that Drew's in, we're like, hey, go Randy, go whoever. Not Drew.
I mean, that's what made Hogan versus Warrior still so memorable to so many of the fans, even though it was touted as kind of a failure because the crowd was so split. But it was that split that the fans were going through that made them remember it so much, because here we're at the height of I don't know who I want to win, because I don't want either person to lose, like, in my gut. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't come down to sometimes you just want somebody to win to get a win. This is I really don't want either person to not come out ahead here. You know? So I agree.
I don't want either of them to lose.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want either to lose, because I want Sammy to be the Intercontinental Champion for the rest of time. But I also recognize that Big E could really utilize that moving forward. So it's like, I don't know, man. What were you going to say, Kev?
I was just going to say that kind of reminds me of the, you know, John Cena and AJ Styles matches. Like, the crowd was split. You know, you had the chants going back and forth, and it was great. You know, I'm sure there's some people chanting both ways, you know, just nonstop talking or yelling, screaming. But, you know, I think that's what makes great matches is when you have, you know, a split. You know, the constant good versus evil, I'm not behind all the time. You know, just as, you know, liking sports, like, hey, I like this team, you know, you like that team, cool, that's fine. You know, they're going head to head, but, you know, I'm going to cheer for my team, you cheer for your team. And it seems like a lot of times in wrestling as a whole, you really don't get that. Yeah. No, I agree.
Clump, any final thoughts on Sammy versus Big E?
I think I'm good for right now.
Yeah. Let's see if we can't wrap up SmackDown here in a minute or so. Riot Squad defeating Natalya and Billie Kay. I actually really liked the match in general. I don't know what we're doing with Billie Kay and Natty as a tag team, and you got Peyton and Lacey as a tag team. I mean, I'm not a bullshitter, and it's not impossible to go back and listen to old episode 1s and find out that I've not been a fan of Ironics for a very long time. So them being split, I actually think is better for a lot of people here. To be honest, I really enjoyed the chemistry between Natty and Billy way more than I liked Peyton and Billy. Is that like really weird?
Well, to me, when I compare the two, it felt like Billy took a back seat and was watching the veteran, do her thing.
Yeah.
And kind of was like, cool, like you take the lead here. Whereas with Peyton and Lacey, it felt like one of those times where they just put two single guys and girls together and trying to make a tag team with them. And this one, it's not working.
Yeah. That makes sense. I do like the Right Squad getting the win. I don't know.
I think they need it.
Natty Billy. But I also don't know I don't know that I want that to go anywhere either. But I'm also torn because I really want Natty to get a tag title at some point because I know it means a lot to her. But I don't know who I see her being paired with that makes a lot of sense because we can't just keep falling back on Beth Phoenix,
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to say about this other than I actually enjoyed the chemistry with Natty and Billy, and I'm glad that Riot Squad got the win. Clump, anything else you want to say about the match?
I am, honestly, I'm happy with Billy and Natty here because I know Peyton. I think Peyton is doing great by themselves. I think Billy could do good by themselves, but they need more time. They need more connections and showing them with other people. It's like, oh fuck, they're diverse, and I want that. We need to see that. So I'm pumped. But I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I think it was an okay, just everything. I can't think of anything I particularly love about this, but that I particularly like. I'm like super mad about. I'm glad that they.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
That's what I felt like too. Just overall, this is good. This is good stuff. Let's see where it goes. Anything that we missed on that, Kev, before we talk about the next?
No, I think we're good.
Otis and Chad Gable as a team. I'm kind of digging this chemistry with Chad coaching Otis, Otis being confused by Chad being all like, yes, that failure, you failed the test, and that is perfect because this is how we learn. And it's like, what? Like, I actually wonder if they're going to be on some huge losing streak for a while, and Chad's just literally happy about it.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of that. Clump, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. Like 6 years later, there's like still the final test is coming. I'm okay with this because Otis has personality and an interesting dynamic in the ring. Chad Gable in a silly spot could bring him out because I don't know. I've always compared Chad Gable to like Lance Storm.
Yeah, he's always been around someone else.
Yes, he needs more, and I think this could work for him. I'm like, okay, don't drop it.
Gable needs someone to feed off a lot like Lance did, because Lance had that hysterical spot with Gold Dust where he painted his face and everything.
Yes, that was amazing.
But it was like half the joke was that like the guy doesn't have a big personality, so for him to be like trying to find himself was so funny. But I do think that Chad like is better with somebody else. Kev, what do you think about Otis and Chad together?
I think it's interesting. It's weird that, once again, they break up Otis and Heavy Machinery. And, obviously Chad with American Alpha. But, with their promos and stuff like that, they had great chemistry. It worked. I'm just a little confused about how much they're leaning on Gable, being an Olympic athlete beforehand, because Otis was a prospect. He was really close. Yeah, he was really close to making an Olympic team himself. He didn't, but I'm surprised they didn't reference that. Like, hey, if you were with me from the beginning, you would have made the Olympics.
Yeah.
You would have been there with me. So it's weird how they, a lot of times they reference one guy's background but not the others. And with these two, they have very similar backgrounds.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's part of the reason why they're clicking.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like it. Another weird pairing though. King Corbin is now with his security team, the Knights of the Lone Wolf. We have two members of the Forgotten Sons together. I'm digging this. I don't know what we're doing with it exactly, but I'm really interested. And we've been saying it for a while. We wanted Corbin to be in charge of a faction of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from
I'm
that, I
glad
just
they
thought it
gave
was a
him
good
a
promo.
name.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad they gave him a name, and last week I said, they should be the Knights. They should have, something Knight related. And I even said Knight Biker Club, and
Yeah.
they're pretty much there.
Yeah, you got like just close enough to be way off.
Yeah. Hey, that's better than most wrestling reporters.
That's actually way better than most wrestling reporters.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm excited for it. I just want to see where it goes. But yeah, that's just kind of how I felt about it.
Mm-hmm.
I missing anything on that? It's just. So I think we ended up talking about SmackDown for so long because it's just such a good show, top to bottom. We're all excited about all of it. So it's kind of funny that way. Because then when we get to Raw, we're like, I don't really want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
That's kind of.
It's because SmackDown's the longer show.
Oh yeah, that's right. But I think it's kind of funny that SmackDown this week was just filled with a bunch of weird pairings. We had Natty and Billy. We had the Knights of the Lone Wolf. We had Otis and Chad. I just skipped my page.
Elias. Oh wait, no, Elias on. Is Elias on Raw?
Yeah, Elias was on Raw with Riker.
Yeah.
But let's see, we had Kevin, Sammy, Ziggler. Yeah, I mean, just a bunch of weird pairings kind of today. So, just kind of a fun show. Yep. I am ready to go on to Raw, though, if you guys
Let's do it.
Let's see. So, I think the overall thing with Raw for me, we had AJ Styles. I want to talk about Bray Wyatt and Randy, I thought was big. But as far as some of this other stuff, I mean, the Lana story is going an interesting way. Elias officially announced Jackson Riker as his bodyguard.
That felt weird to me.
Which one? Elias?
Yeah. Well,
Jackson Riker. Elias announced Jackson Riker as his bodyguard.
So, I don't know. I think part of it, like, I don't want to knock somebody back for dumb shit that they've said.
Yeah.
I don't knock somebody back for dumb shit that they've said at really poor times. And that's what he did. Is he said some dumb shit at an incredibly poor time. Like, and that's why it was dumb shit. Everyone has an ability to be active with their beliefs and views. I think there's a space and time when you're a public figure to be very cautious, and he wasn't. And that shouldn't demonize him forever, but personally, I kind of feel a bit weird with him being still put to the main roster. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's
secondary though. He's someone's bodyguard.
And that is fair. I did think about that as I had to think about it because, transparently, I don't agree with his views. Just for everyone there. And I'm not going to go further than that because ultimately we kind of ourselves are public figures here. But I don't throw mine out. So him coming in, I think it's okay in the sense of, we're going to put you at a secondary role because of this. And more than anything, if I had to think of anything to be positive about, it gives more time to Elias, and he needs it. I think Elias has been kind of kicked in the ass for a while. He stalled.
And I do think that, I mean, how long do you put someone in timeout for in general? And I do think that bleeding him out as a secondary figure to Elias is probably a good way to do that. I don't know if it's right or wrong or anything like that, but it's probably good. Let's start getting the audience used to you again. Let's have you not in the same setting you were in before.
Keep you off Twitter.
Yeah, keep you off Twitter. But, let's give you a different presentation, a different grouping, a different surrounding, and make you kind of a secondary figure so people get used to you again. They get over the initial rattling that the internet world will do, and then we'll move on and get back on track. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. And like you said, I don't have an issue with it necessarily. I agree with you where it's like, okay, you really put your foot in the mouth at a really bad time. You're going to get a lot of heat for that. But I also think the internet wrestling community is like, probably 10% of the viewership. If you look at just engagement numbers, it's not as loud as they think they are. Kev, what do you think about Riker surface level, or deeper if you want, being Elias's bodyguard?
I have truthfully no problem with it. I think it's, an interesting role for him because Elias has always been the drifter, kind of loner kind of thing, and now he's embracing the rock star mentality. So yeah, give him a bodyguard who's a big guy that they have,
Yeah.
throw them together.
Yeah.
That's how I agree with you on that. It just feels all right. It feels all right, and it feels like a new way to get to know a new character in a different way. And yeah, I don't have any issues with it personally on that level at all.
I mean, the other thing too that I think is a positive is I never got the Forgotten Sons. Like I'm not saying they were untalented. They're good in the ring. I just didn't get the gimmick. It fell really flat to me. That might just be I don't super align with that style of. To me, it comes off very pandery. Hey, because nationalism. Like, okay, cool. Like, I get it.
It's true. I do like they kept the other two together because the other two were the Marines, and I think that Jackson wasn't. So I do like that they kept the other two together because I do think that they performed in a way that made sense in that world as well. Kind of made sense to be like a couple of badass guys who trained together and been through whatever they've been through together, deciding they're going to go just be fighters now and being a tag team. Like I felt like their style actually worked really well in that. So I was glad that they actually stayed together in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Forgotten Sons gimmick, and I never had a problem with them. I liked them.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool thing.
It wasn't bad. It's just, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like it felt flat to me.
Yeah, it just didn't. You didn't see him come out and go, "Oh shit, here we go." It's just like, "Oh, okay, here's this team."
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What do you guys think about Miz and Morrison getting the win over Keith Lee?
They needed to do that because I am absolutely tired of these 2-on-1s, and one of the guys on the tag team is our Money in the Bank champion or winner. Mm-hmm. If he cashes in, he's gonna, it just seems like, they're making him weak is basically what I'm trying to get at. They're making Miz look extremely weak, that he needs 2-on-1s, and if I remember correctly, they lost the first one, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, you're gonna be the
champion to Drew.
Yeah, you're gonna be the champion, but yet you can't beat the champion right now on a 2-on-1.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're trying to superpower Drew up. That's my problem with Drew.
Well, yeah, but they were doing that with Keith Lee, and then they kind of stopped.
So, did you guys hear about it? Let's hit some of these rumors real quick too. There was a ton of internet rumors going around saying that Keith Lee, Otis, Dabba-Kato, and AJ's bodyguard, Umo? How do you say his name?
Almost.
They were all sent back to the PC. This was the rumors, to train with Adam Pearce and Drew Gulak because, quote, Vince McMahon doesn't think they can wrestle. Get the fuck out of here. So first off, we have a bunch of fucking jack-off internet writers who want to sensationalize and villainize Vince in every aspect of all things. But they say that Vince has lost all faith in them, and that's why he's moving them to the Performance Center, putting them back down to NXT so they can learn all over. Fuck that. Oh, and Mace from Retribution was also in that group as well. He's a big dude too, so there's a lot of big dudes. And Mace, by the way, got a win over Ricochet. I thought was a really good thing.
Yeah.
But we'll mention one thing about that in a minute. So that was the rumors going around about Keith Lee. And just the day before, the rumor was that Keith Lee was going to be in the world title match in WrestleMania this year. So I think people don't even listen to
Somebody's
themselves
gonna
half the
be
time.
right.
Yeah, somebody's gonna be right eventually.
I don't. And to me, like when I hear that, I'm like, I heard the rumors and then I saw the performances, and I was like, I don't see anything anyone's done here that's drastically different off. I think Keith Lee's getting more mic time because they're really trying to invest in him, and he's refining his character. And I like his character. I like what he's doing. I'm like, yeah, this kind of works out. Like he's, a big tough smartass. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But I've not. It's not like he suddenly can't move, because if we're gonna have that conversation and we're getting into fucking Raw, I'm sorry. There was a match with a talent who's been on the main roster and has held multiple world titles that I watched and thought, why the fuck are you here? And we'll get to that in a second. But
Damn it, Miz.
fucking not Naya, 100% Naya. But like, I don't know. I don't see anything here that any of these performers has done that points to that. So I don't see a reason that they would get knocked down. And if
But
that's
they
what
also
they're
didn't
going
get knocked
off of,
down.
exactly. That's what I mean. Is like I don't know where this is coming from. And if we're gonna throw anything to the idea that they're going to the performance center to do work, that just sounds like on the job training. I'm sure it's a good ass idea, and I'm sure everyone does that. If that's happening,
I'm sure some Johnny Jackoff saw them walking into the performance center and was like, "Oh, they got sent down to NXT. Make it internet news."
they're all in fucking Florida. I'm sure there's offices there. It's stupid as hell.
Yeah. But yeah, even then, I mean, I think it's like you said. Well, for one, they used to just put them on a bunch of live shows when they wanted people to get a little bit better at stuff or wanted to keep them sharp. They just can't do that nowadays. So yeah, why wouldn't they all go to some training together, and why wouldn't they all work on something? And to be honest, I've never had a job ever where my boss asked me to learn something better and then not utilized me more for that thing. I think the problem is if they don't get sent down to there and we stop seeing them on TV. Having Keith Lee on TV every week, and let's break it down real quick too. If you didn't think Keith Lee was any good, he showed up from NXT into the main event picture. He's immediately had matches with Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Matt Riddle, Seth Rollins, Miz and Morrison. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean?
He's not had bad matches. He's held his own. These haven't been. He's not had a match where I'm like, oh no. He's not had a moment on this roster or a segment where I question what the fuck he's doing out here. I see the argument like Otis is in a unique spot.
Yeah.
Otis really got kicked down card a lot, but the thing is, there's long been like Otis in his role when he was toward the upper mid card where you thought, okay, yeah, there's not a lot here. And I'm not saying that to knock Otis. He could use some more polish. He could use some more, some more moves.
Yeah.
But that's why he's being trained by Gable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool with it. But giving people more time on TV isn't a sign that they're getting kicked down.
Yeah.
Or taking time away from them.
Yeah.
Isn't a sign of them getting kicked down. The only thing that Keith Lee needs to do back in NXT is, learn to be better on the mic. Because when he pulled out his Harvey Dent, impersonation, if you will, this week, I was like, ugh, that's got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, I think it goes even more to that. I don't think that they're taking him down there so he can learn moves. I don't think this is a moves thing. I think this is a psychology thing. You're big guys. Let's teach you how to work with big guys. Because here's the other thing, is none of these big guys in NXT had a chance to work with any other big guys.
Yeah.
Keith Lee was in NXT the whole time in a feud with Gargano.
And Dijakovic, who's now also on the main roster. But that was my big thing with Keith Lee in NXT was, he's huge compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
Like Keith Lee versus Finn Balor, that's not a match.
Yeah.
Or Gargano, that's not a match. It's,
I mean,
he needed to be moved up.
I think it was good because it allowed them to showcase his ability to move, which, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it showed him what made him interesting on NXT was here's a really big dude doing the same things as the little dudes are doing, but you're not in that little dude world anymore. You're up here with the biggest dudes we have, and we need you to be able to work that kind of match. And I think that it's just a matter of tuning that and fine tuning that. And I don't see anything from any of these even bookings, even where Keith got the loss. He was up in seconds. He looked pissed. He looked like he wasn't happy about getting that loss. They had to do a whole bunch of stuff to do it. They even played it off on commentary like the underdogs won. Like even 2-1, there's no way Keith Lee can lose this. And he lost, and they made it seem like, oh my God, what a shock victory that two people could beat one person. So like, how much stronger do you got to look? And why would you think that Vince doesn't have faith in a guy that he's putting over that big? I think we might see a change in his character some. He might get a little more angry, a little more serious about things. He might say like, hey, I gotta make a change. I don't know how much big of a change we would see, but I think we might see a bit of a change in attitude and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
No, I agree with
Yes.
that. Unless you have something else to say about that. Oh, dirt sheets being stupid. What was that? What do you got?
I would love to. I mean, it's gonna skip a few segments, but fuck it. Let's dovetail into if this is gonna be thrown up for dirt sheets. How is Naya so out of the mind of dirt sheets? Because, and I'm not. I know we knock Naya a lot for their performance, and I try to hit the middle here, but I can't. Her performance in the ring, her movements, what she did, every part of that beatdown, it looked sad. She looked immobile. And I'm not, if that's the case, then she needs to, does she need, more time to rehab? Is she nursing an injury? What's going on here? Because it was her leg drop of 2 steps back, step down. I looked at it and I was like, this looks like somebody who's really hurt their body up a lot, and that's not good. And I don't want to say this like I'm gonna knock somebody for their size, for the weight. I'm a big dude, but if somebody's having that much trouble moving, they need to work on something. It doesn't necessarily have to be weight, but it might be, do we need to change things up a bit? Because it's, honestly, to me, it's upsetting.
Yeah. She doesn't move naturally either. Like,
No.
I mean, I know a lot of people showed that whole thing where she kind of like ran back and forth in a match with Asuka and Lana. Lana goes to pull down the rope, does it way, way early, doesn't even barely budge the rope, and then Nia just like dives out. And it was just this really awkward thing. But she has a lot of spots like that where it's just kind of like moving around strangely, like going, I'm supposed to be over here now. Like, it's really like...
You can tell also that her feet and her knees really are not doing well. And it's because, well, you and I are both bigger guys. And, you and I have both had conversations about like our feet, our feet are, for me, my knee, especially my right fucking knee, really killing me. One of the things I notice when people are having knee issues is how they get down and how they get up. And with her, it's always that hand to lean. And she does that, and it doesn't look natural. Or how she takes a rolling bump, she does it so that she puts as much, like basically skips that area as much as possible. And then the movements and running, to me, indicate that you're in boots or footwear that really isn't helping you run. And is there a foot injury there or something? Because it looks like when somebody's got really bad feet issues and they're moving kind of awkwardly. It doesn't look right. And
no, I hear you.
Again, that's not to knock her. It's okay, what do we need to do to help her? And if she's hurting, why is she here?
When I ref. And I agree that you can see that kind of movement where you start like supporting your own knee with your hand and stuff. I am getting a little concerned that she might be getting that same kind of like, I don't want to call it like big man's syndrome type deal, but like the same kind of thing that like Mark Henry went through and Big Show went through, even Yoko went through, where it's like, well, I'm a big guy, I'm supposed to be big, and it was all about growing and being bigger, and that was part of it. But it ultimately would break down their bodies, and they wouldn't be able to move right, and they had to do something about it and had to address it because I mean, I was watching something. I don't remember what it was. I was going through old matches and stuff, and I saw Nia from a few years back, and I realized she was always big. We always thought she was a big person, but she was a lot smaller then, and still was much larger than the entire roster.
Yes.
And now she's like almost twice the size she was when she was in NXT. And you just get worried about that kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that like really tears up your body and your ability to perform.
Well, and also, I mean, even in the Royal Rumble where she came in, she was taking bumps and she was moving around in the men's and women's Royal Rumble. And she looked fucking good. I don't think she would last in a Royal Rumble this time. I think she would be in the big, we'll say big athletes position now, where we're gonna get you out of the ring and you're gonna look intimidating, but it's gonna be like a Great Khali bump or a Big Show before he took, before he had a lot of surgeries bump, or it's just gonna kind of like gingerly get your ass the fuck out of the ring. And that's unfortunate because they're, supposed to be the prime of their game. Yeah. And if they're not, and I align with what their message has been, the idea of they're not like most performers. I don't like the song, but there should be a space for performers of all sizes who are healthy and able. Piper Niven looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And works a hell of a match. It shouldn't be this way, and they're not helping themselves.
Yeah. It's not helping much. I do like what they're doing, or I do think that I like the way that they presented Lana in the sense that they're really gathering a lot of empathy for Lana right now.
Yeah.
Although with this injury angle, they did say by the end of the show that she was not going to be in TLC and Asuka was going to need to find a partner. Do either of you have an idea of who that could possibly be?
Charlotte. I don't know.
Oh, please, God, no, dude, don't do that.
Jesus.
You say that, and damn well that is a strong possibility, and I can't think of anyone else now.
Yeah.
Yeah, why? Why do I get bullied when you say bullshit like that?
He says that shit, right?
Yeah, and you treat him like his shit don't stink, but me, I do clear a room out, but
yeah, no, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It has to be a return, though. It has to be a return. I mean, I would think. Kyrie,
it's gotta be somebody who has a pop, yeah.
If it was Kyrie, that would be huge. Because supposedly when she left, the contract wasn't like expired. She just was leaving indefinitely to be with her family. You know what I mean? Supposedly. And she still posts stuff all the time. So, I don't know.
Last time we saw her, Bailey killed her.
She was murdered. Kayfabe murdered for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, she comes back, but she's like Undertaker, Corey Sane.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
But I have this theory that, because listening to some rumors and stuff like that with Lana and stuff like that, they keep putting her through tables because Rusev / Miro left and, blah, blah, blah. I'm just wondering if, they were hoping they would pair her with Nia and hoping that Nia would accidentally hurt her.
Dick, dude. That is a dick theory.
So since it didn't happen before TLC, so now we have to kayfabe an injury.
Kayfabe it.
Yeah. She keeps getting up.
Right there.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Come on, Nia. Do what you do best.
Yeah. The ref goes over and checks on her and just like looks into the back and just kind of like upset, just like, no, she's fine.
No X here. Yeah.
In my heart of hearts, I think that's probably not accurate.
It might have been 90% joke, but anyway. So who do you guys think Asuka's partner is going to be? Natty?
Fucking no one now. Forget it. You want to come in here with that Charlotte bullshit?
It's gonna be Charlotte, you bastard. I can't.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna text you pissed off.
Yeah, like fuck this guy. Grim Reaper did come through the chat saying hello. La la la. So
cheers, Grim, again.
Cheers to Grim. Yeah.
Howdy, partner. You just talked yourself out of a fake Rolex, Kev. Thank you.
Yeah, he does say though, when does Lana get her payoff? WrestleMania, win the Raw Women's Championship, because that's the other thing too. Is we definitely have a huge story with Lana where she's gonna have to get a win eventually.
She did.
You would think, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where Lana gets her payoff, and I don't know why Kev had to come in here and ruin the mood of the whole place and bring up Charlotte.
She doesn't get her payoff. She gets her payday when she goes to AEW.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lana did win the match. Fab Tina says Lana beat Nia with a pin that Miro says that he taught her.
Yeah. One hell of a stink face.
Yeah. Stink face.
Yeah, she
pin.
got all of that pin. Yeah.
Yeah. Miro tweeted out a picture of it and said, "I taught her this last night, and we both won."
We practiced this one.
I hate Kev so much. She's the worst tonight. Oh my god.
It's called the money shot. Damn it. I'm not happy right now.
I know. God.
Oh.
I'll see you guys in 2 months.
Yep.
I'm seriously trying to think of anyone, because if it's not Charlotte, then why not build it up? If it's like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's not Charlotte, then why didn't Asuka go? Yeah, like, and it ain't gonna be Kari. It's not gonna be Kari.
It's bullshit.
Oh.
You know who it should be? Mia Yim, showing up for the first time ever on WWE Raw.
That'd be good.
And I'll tell you why that works. You dumb idiot. I hear you, Clump, being a jerk. Clump, let me tell you, Clump, how this works. May's got to win over Ricochet.
Kev's ass gets the...
You're like, what the hell?
Kevin, are you okay? You piece of shit, Clump. Kev, do you want a drink? You'd be pouring a fucking beer right now as you're just like slapping me in the fucking face.
Now let me tell you why it works. Because Mace got to win. Mace won against Ricochet. So the only person not getting wins right now is Reckoning. And Mustafa Ali keeps yelling at Reckoning that we cannot have failure here.
Pronounce it not in an offensive ass way. You sound like a very concerned Midwestern person who doesn't know anything. Mustafa. It's Mustafa.
No,
right.
it's not. Clump. Actually, he's made it very clear on a number of videos on social media
Mustafa.
that Mustafa is how it's pronounced. And the reason he said Mustafa was because he felt like people would be so cruel in mispronouncing it and that would find it too difficult and he wouldn't be able to be successful in the company. So he's now saying that, yes, my name is Mustafa and I'd like it pronounced correctly, please, if at all possible. He's made that very clear. I'm trying really hard to make sure I do it right because we're so used to hearing Mustafa. But, he's made it clear. It's Mustafa.
Yeah, on Talking Smack.
On Talking Smack, he made the reference. He made it in a few IG videos.
The announcers say it all the time, Mustafa.
Yep, and even someone tweeted out.
I was just gonna say I'm like Marsh, where I'm always like Mustafa.
Yeah,
like I always stumble over it.
I'm correcting it out of respect. It's not the other way around. The other thing is that someone tweeted out something like, "Hey, I don't remember if it was Tom Phillips or Byron. They said quit saying Mustafa wrong. You know, it's the same way it used to be, and now you're saying it all silly." And Mustafa retweeted it and said, actually, they're pronouncing it correctly for the first time in a long time. You know, like, he's made it a point to be clear and vocal that is the correct pronunciation about it. And
viewers, that's exactly why Marsh gives me shit every time here because I fuck up a lot.
Every now and again,
every now and again, I'm right,
and
but
I got
not tonight.
Yeah, you Clump.
I got my get out of jail.
You know what, Kev? I'll pour you a beer too.
Get out of jail free card.
Yeah. Kev's like, I did it.
Yeah, I'm off the hook.
But he keeps saying that you can't have failure in here, right? And so if Reckoning's the one who keeps failing, and she keeps getting yelled at, then maybe we end up with a Mia Yim showing up to partner with Asuka and actually going on a whole winning streak without Retribution. You know what I mean? but I think it's
Yeah.
possible.
Well, they already fucked that up when her mask came off, since we were not supposed to know who she was.
It wasn't.
Yes,
I mean,
no.
it's just her name's Reckoning. What do you want to do about it? That's what I mean. For the first time ever, we could get Mia Yim.
But you can't have Mia Yim because now we see her face. Allegedly.
No. There's a separation in presentation. It's not that you don't know that it's not the same person. You realize that that person is going under different moniker and style specifically for this thing. I actually think the Retribution storyline, as much as people want to shit on it, actually has a ton of really underlying kind of artistic views on stuff. The idea of going by a name that they know. It's not fraudulent if you know it's Mia Yim. She didn't change her hair or her face, but she's going by Reckoning and painting up her face and wearing a mask because the idea is to have a silly name people make fun of and to have a look that people just immediately judge and make fun of you for outside of just typically being, someone we already know and like. So the presentation of Retribution, I think, is really important for its story in of itself. I don't think they're honestly at any point, I don't get the feeling for 1 second that they think we don't know who they are. But they do, I think, expect us to accept what they're going through, which is almost like a military aspect. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's all. That's why I think that Mia could work, but it's still gonna be fucking Charlotte, and Kev's gonna ruin the whole goddamn thing.
This is like when somebody This is like when that one Royal Rumble where fucking Roman came in 30th and somebody tweeted that their friend just said, "Oh, it could be they haven't announced it could be Roman," and then it was Roman. Just, oh.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to say real quick.
Is that
Mandy...
when they?
Hmm?
No.
That was when they thought it was gonna be
Samoa
Samoa Joe.
Said it's gonna Samoa Joe, and then it was a Samoa named Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of people heated. Mandy Rose is back. I'm really excited about that. I want to bring that up because I have seen someone. Cool. Yeah, some people tweeted that the WWE has a real knack for wrapping up all of their titles in one storyline, and said that only 4 people were involved in the women's main and tag titles last year, and is the same as this year. And I brought up that Reckoning is currently in a storyline about failing and being the only failure in the group, and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke have been tied to Shayna and Nia the whole time. Asuka and Lana have been tied to Shayna and Nia as well. That I don't think that they aren't paying attention to the other women. I just don't think there's as many women there as you think. And I also don't think that... Oh, and also Alexa is being heavily utilized in The Fiend and in the Fiend storyline in and of itself in general. And Nikki was involved a little bit in that, and that's been ongoing. Just because you don't like where it's going, or you think that it could use more time, or you'd like to see a little bit more of, doesn't mean it's not present. Even Peyton and Lacey is a slow-moving storyline, but it's still there. Go ahead, Kev.
I was going to say, what about Naomi?
Naomi? In the
With
chat,
Asuka.
Blueboy says, what about Sonya Deville?
That'd be interesting.
I just don't know that they fit the same way. But I just want to say welcome back to Mandy Rose. Excited to have her back. I really like her working with Dana Brooke, and so I guess we see where that goes, right?
Yeah.
Apart from that, we got the Randy Orton and Bray stuff and the AJ stuff. So I wanted to hit up those 2 things before we finish up. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Which one do you guys want to hit first?
Let's do the AJ stuff.
All right, let's go into AJ.
Sure.
So AJ opens the show in a horrible Miz and Morrison segment where Morrison's dressed up as Braveheart because they think it's funny. It's this big comedy act, which was not all that funny. Yeah. Miz thinks he's hysterical and he's not funny. The whole thing was just like bad. And I was like, oh, God,
I think that was the point of it.
Do you think it was?
Yeah,
I thought they thought they were on point.
I'm getting real tired of people
I think
doing shitty things and saying, we're being deliberately shitty. No.
Hey, don't you lump Sami Zayn in this shit. I will knock you out.
No, Sami Zayn is good at this, but it's an easy thing to say.
Carry on then.
No, I think it was done on purpose, especially the way Morrison is, and he was, doing the Braveheart thing and ad-libbing and stuff like that. I thought that was a part of it.
I don't know.
I think it was supposed to be like a serious, like, narration of what's gonna happen.
No, it was supposed to be comedy, but I thought it was bad comedy. I didn't find it funny. That's what I mean.
I thought it was
wasn't
funny
that it
'cause
was
I thought
supposed to
it
be
was
serious.
supposed to be. I thought it was funny because I thought it was supposed to be bad, and it was bad.
It was supposed to be shitty, and what do you know?
Nailed it.
I thought they nailed it. Yeah.
I didn't know how you were gonna make this so bad. But there you go.
Hey,
Pulled it.
I have said in the past that I might be getting worked, and that is always an option. It is always possible I'm being worked on this. So, and to be honest, nothing makes me happier than when I look back and go, fuck, I got worked. I love it. Everyone's trying to prove that they're
Cheers,
never
good
worked,
job.
that they're so smart. But the only reason, like, let's break it down. Here's the big shout out back to TW Takes Two. It's okay to get worked. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing about wrestling is we love it so much that sometimes we get so tied up in our feelings about stuff that we forget that they're toying with our feelings on purpose. So when I say you were getting worked by Sami Zayn,
Yes.
that was not at all a knock at all. That was in no way meant to be disrespectful in any way. Please don't give me an ass whooping. It's my favorite part about wrestling is
You're
that we still get
stupid
worked.
because
Yeah, right?
yeah, you're stupid because you believe that. No,
Yeah.
it's I like the pops. I don't like spoilers, and I don't like the internet rumors, so I try and stay away from all that shit because I like the pop. I remember when Hogan came out to Crown Jewel or whatever it was, or Greatest Royal Rumble. I was like, holy shit, it's Hogan, it's Hogan. Like, I had the day off. I was fucking excited. I was like running around my house, and I text you, and you're like, oh, yeah, they said this like 2 days ago on Twitter. And I was like, God damn it, that's why I stay off the old tweet machine.
Oh, my God. I was like, oh, yeah, they tweeted it.
Yeah.
Fuck Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. I was ripping my shirt and everything.
Yeah. But that's my favorite part about wrestling is that it can still mess with us. It's that whole, like, the biggest kayfabe is that there is no kayfabe. I might be getting worked on this because I'm booing the shit out of Miz and Morrison. So I could be getting worked. That's 100% a possibility. And if it's true, I love it. But I hate these guys. I do not like them.
I love Morrison. I'm throwing that out there again. I think he's hilarious. And he's athletic as hell. I think that he just needs I think he just needs a new gimmick. I've been saying this. Like, I was pissed that he came back and it was still the same old Morrison.
Yeah, that was weird. I do think, though, AJ. I think AJ is hysterical. I thought he was so good in there. I think he's so good in general. So, I mean, unless there's something else you want to say about that little comedy skit, the AJ versus Sheamus match, oh my God. I don't know who owes who more money.
Yep.
I don't know. I felt like Sheamus is like, sorry, bro, I work stiff. And so AJ's was like, well, also fuck you, dude. Then how about this?
Yeah.
Like, that's what the match felt like to me. I work stiff. What are you going to do? Probably beat the shit back at you? What do you fucking mean? What am I going to do? That's what the match felt like the whole time I was watching it.
Yeah. And that's what I love is those stiff shots back and forth. Sheamus just had a match recently with somebody else where we were just like, oh, they were laying it into each other.
Dude, him and Riddle, him and Big E.
Yeah, it was Riddle. That was the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, the backyard, or not the backyard, but the parking lot brawl with Big E. Like, I love it. Like I said, Brock and Roman, at that one Royal Rumble where, they were hitting each other.
Yeah.
Like one of them, it's all of a sudden somebody's got a bloody mouth and you're like, yeah, you got popped.
Yeah.
I remember watching that at work with you and be like, they're legit mad.
Yeah, because you brought it up, and I was like, really? I think I remember that. They're like, well, let's put it on. We're in here anyways. We got an hour. How long can the match be? I found it on my iPad. We sat there and watched it, and the whole time we're just like, fuck. Like, what are they doing that for? But when I think of, like, NXT UK and the influence it's starting to have a little bit more in NXT, I think of guys like Sheamus. Like, when I think of who could Walter be in a match with that I'm going to buy into, Sheamus comes to mind immediately. Not a lot of other guys in the main roster. Cesaro, I think, could. I really do. I don't think he brings it the way that Sheamus does every single match. I don't think that Sheamus I don't think that Cesaro doesn't deliver all the time, but Sheamus wants people to think it's a fucking fight every time, is what I'm starting to gather. I think that Sheamus is getting off on the fact that he can't go to bars and have fights. That's what it feels like. Where he's like, well, I can't just go get drunk and be in a bar fight anymore, so I'm going to have to bring a fight to the ring because I want to be punched now. And you're like, what? He's a crazy person.
Love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And AJ's just more than happy to be all like, you think I didn't live in Japan for years, motherfucker? AJ's a beast. This match was so good, too. This match made me more excited for AJ versus Drew than literally anything Drew McIntyre has ever done.
Yeah?
Yes.
All right.
I just have a question about Drew.
Ask, I guess. What, you have a question for Drew? I can't answer that.
So, not for Drew. Here's the Ask Drew segment of tonight's show.
Yeah.
Dear Drew. Now, I don't get how, what's his name? Braun Strowman throws Adam Pearce and he gets suspended for touching an official. Yeah. But then Drew and Sheamus put, what was his name? Pat Buck through a table. And they're just like, yeah, they kind of did that.
Because Drew McIntyre is a Hulk Hogan heel. And not Hollywood Hogan heel. A Hulkamania heel. I think I'm a babyface, but I'm a heel. Like the same Hogan who slapped Sherry in the face. The same Hogan who pulled Sid out of the Royal Rumble because he lost the match and was throwing a temper tantrum. Hogan threw a lot of fits, and he would back rake and eye gouge. He was a fucking whiny little bitch who somehow was the biggest babyface that ever was. And that's where we have Drew McIntyre.
He had vitamins. I don't see Drew McIntyre vitamins.
That's a really good point. Drew McIntyre has no vitamins, but he does have a sword. A sword.
A sword.
A sword.
Sword.
Sword. And I'll tell you, my biggest problem with that fucking sword. Drew McIntyre, the second he came out with it, goes on some fucking podcast and goes, yeah, that's Vince's. Stephanie and Triple H gave it to him as a gift. And he was like, wouldn't it be cool if he came out with a sword? I was like, what? And now every time he comes out, they're like, there he is, brandishing the sword of his grandfather. The lineage and heritage of that sword. It's fucking infuriating.
Do you think Drew's Vince's illegitimate son?
Ooh. Drew could be his kid. I mean, Kennedy was, and so was Hornswoggle, right?
Yeah.
So
it's Vincent J. McMahon's sword. Is it
McMahonentire?
Yeah.
McMahonentire.
McMahonentire.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't know.
Fucking, of course, like Hunter or Trips and Stephanie got Vince a goddamn sword. I'm sorry, Trips makes me happy.
First off, yes, but Trips, come on. We're not that level douchey, dude. We've stayed so far. I mean, we've towed the line. We have towed the line.
And Stephanie got him a fucking sword for like some holiday. Goddamn course they did. I'm sure it has Iron Cross on fucking.
I'm not saying we don't toe the line every week, but saying Trips is going to put us right over that line, dude.
I'll call him his proper name.
Wait.
Yeah.
Paul.
Triple. No, it's just a bunch of H's. Triple.
It's like a Prius going down the road.
Triple.
Fine, we'll call him H. Hurst Hemsley.
Yes.
But I need to keep Trips in my back pocket for next time I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, remember when Clump called him Trips?
Yeah, and then I lose my shit again.
I'll call him Paul Levesque like CM Punk did in that one promo that I'm sure you hate that I kind of liked.
I mean, it was okay.
Yeah. Oh, the pipe.
Yeah. No. It was in the pipe bomb. It was straight to his face. It's like, this isn't CM Punk talking to Triple H. This is Phil Brooks talking to Paul Levesque. And I just liked Paul Levesque.
Yeah. No, it was a great moment of scripted reality where everyone thought it was real, but it was clearly scripted. But CM Punk will never tell you that because he's.
I never thought CM Punk.
Was good. You
CM
did
Punk
it
no. CM Punk that was the scripted moment. I'm sure he would say it, but I hate CM Punk fanboys. I liked CM Punk, but CM Punk was part of the machine too.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good. It's all
Yeah.
good. I appreciate people who like CM Punk. I think it's funny the people who still think everything CM Punk did was against Vince McMahon's wishes. That's the hysterical bit.
He's even said that him and Vince got along fairly well.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all like, "Oh, he was against the machine." Oh, that was his character was.
How you
talking
doing,
about?
Phil?
They're like, "Oh, remember the pipe bomb?" And they cut his mic and then turned it back on. What are you fucking talking about?
That shit was
remember when
would be in the fucking network.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's on the network, idiots. It's an
I
easy
was
one
gonna
to
say,
pull
remember
up.
when
It wouldn't be in
Yeah,
fucking
remember when-
lists.
remember when
Kev.
Enzo tried to do that?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, remember
That's
when
not in the
Enzo
network.
tried to do the
Yeah.
pipe bomb, his pipe bomb?
You know that moment Enzo tried to do a pipe bomb and they cut the cameras and you don't see the shit? You know why? Because they cut the cameras and you don't see the shit. You don't remember? Yeah, because they didn't want you to see the shit.
Yeah. What do you mean they didn't zoom on him dramatically? That's weird. That's what they did for Punk.
Yeah.
Anyways,
They didn't put the spotlight on him. Come on.
Yeah. AJ and Sheamus has got me the most hyped for AJ and Drew because, like I've said 100 times, as much as I don't like Drew, I do respect him, and I'm gonna boo that man because he's a heel. He's a heel who doesn't realize it, and I'm gonna continue to boo him.
Yeah.
And I think that AJ really showed that he is a legitimate contender. He has every reason to be a champion. He's got every reason for us to believe he could walk away champion, even though there's a good chance he's not going to. He's making me believe it on the way in, and I love that.
Yes. More of a
Also, it looks
shot
like,
than
hey, if
heel.
it doesn't go his way, he might just start kicking him in the fucking face a bunch because you're like, fuck, leave Sheamus alone.
No, don't hurt him, buddy.
Yeah, don't hurt him. But that's all I got to say about that. Unless there's something else you want to say before we talk about Bray and Orton.
I'm good.
Nope.
Bray Orton.
Good, cool. No Alexa again, 2 weeks in a row. I don't know what's going on here. It's fucking bullshit.
Mhm.
I don't know what Ryan Cabrera thinks he's doing, keeping Alexa off our TV so she can do Punky Brewster or some shit.
Bullshit.
Did I tell you about that? Did I tell you about that, Kev?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's filming Punky Brewster, I think, still. And I'm like, come on, guys. We're not going to get her for much longer. Hollywood's going to scoop her up as soon as this Punky Brewster is a hit. And it will be a hit.
Like the
Because
Big
it's Punky
Show.
Brewster. Yeah.
Which I like the Big Show Sean Hudson as being an asshole.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun show.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was.
Yeah.
But-
It was a hit when it hit the floor of the cutting room.
Damn it.
When it hit the bottom of their watch list. Ah! That shit bounced.
But we had Bray Wyatt do a funhouse thing in the ring with all the puppets out there. We had Orton say, let's play hide and seek. Bray Wyatt's going nuts about it, thinks it's fun to play a game. Then we get a bunch of segments of Bray Wyatt looking for Randy in the backstage. So we had some cool interactions with R-Truth and the pig. I really liked Bray Wyatt walking over and be like, don't talk to strangers. And then R-Truth talking to the puppet and Bray. And Bray almost looking like, you can see him, kind of look like it was this weird like moment. And then he goes, I gotta go play hide and seek, and runs away. I liked all those interactions and stuff, and then we ended up with Randy Orton. Well, we find a rocking chair. Bray sits in it. Randy comes up, sneaks up behind him, beats him down, throws him into a big chest of some kind. It wasn't quite a coffin, but it was coffin-esque, and then sets the whole thing on fire, and then the Fiend breaks out of it while it's on fire and attacks Randy, and it was fucking crazy. There's a lot going on in a number of segments. Let's go with Kev. Kev, what did you think of all this?
It was good.
Son of a bitch. Clump.
It was great.
No, yeah.
Pause. Go back to you, Kev.
Yeah. No, I liked it. It was cool. Bray kind of looks at the chair and he's like, like, hello, old friend. Like, thought I lost you. And then Randy just hits him in the back of the head, like punches him in the skull.
Boom.
Yeah.
and sets him on fire. Fiend breaks out, and didn't see it coming and kills Randy.
Yeah. And I like that version of the transition too. Like I know they've been getting real clever with the idea of the Fiend now, especially with their lack of live crowd. They can get a little more fun with it.
Mhm.
And I like this one. I even liked it because the timeline of it, the length of time it took, made me also believe it's possible that it could have happened without a camera cut. You know what I mean? I think they used camera cut,
Yeah.
but I don't think they had to, which
Yeah.
is kind of neat too. They did it smart. Clump, did you not see much of this?
This one I didn't see, but I can kind of have my views of it. I saw just when it started out, and then I had to bail.
So did you see the promo that Bray was doing?
Yes, I like that. I saw Randy come out and say, "I want challenge Bray, not the Fiend," and I like that a lot. I think I saw R-Truth, and I wish that we finally would get a visual of Little Jimmy, just so we could bury Little Jimmy. Just like, cool. This never has to happen again, does it? This is what Little Jimmy looks like. It's Nick Dinsmore. Do that, but no, I like this. I'm excited for Randy Fiend. This is the best thing going on Raw by a mile. And part of me maybe wishes the title was involved, but also it doesn't need to be, and maybe that speaks more to you. Y'all need to work on your title picture because this is amazing, and there's no belt involved.
But I do think that's the beauty in it, is that it is so great and it's got a life of its own. And it, like you said, it's without the title. And I think that shows how great that, Randy and Bray are.
I think so too. I think what one remarkable aspect is just how next level Randy is right now in his career. That's like most people would consider would be the years that should be winding down. You know what I mean? And he's tremendous right here. And then Fiend obviously is doing stuff that is the most talked about and best stuff that they got on TV. But it does in a sense, I do agree, it does in a sense sort of undermine the title to a degree.
I don't think it undermines it. I just think it shows how great these two guys are, and they don't need the backing of the title to prove it.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm saying that the title picture needs to step up if they're being overshadowed by something this. This is just a feud. I mean, it's a tremendous feud, but you have two people involved in this feud, and it is literally the best thing to have on TV all week. So much so that they have like 4 segments, and I can't wait for more. And then you have a title feud that's happening, and you go, "Oh, the challenger is really making this story something." To me, I think that's it's not an ideal situation. I don't feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
that's what I mean. I didn't mean it in a different way.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think, it speaks to how great AJ is, but it doesn't speak to the fuck Drew is.
Yeah. Clump, I sent you a couple little videos of the visual of Fiend coming out and beating up Randy, and right now I just sent you the one of Randy setting the thing on fire with the Bray inside of it, just so you can get a visual of that moment, because I thought it was really fucking dope. I don't know what to say about this feud other than it's like been a long time coming, and I couldn't be more excited for it. And I remember so me and Kev were at Elimination Chamber when Bray left as the champion, and then right before, was that before or after Randy won the Rumble before
Randy
that?
won it later. Yeah.
He won it before because that Randy was in February.
Yeah, and everyone was saying that, Bray couldn't win it. So when Bray won it, they said, "Oh, Randy's going to go after the Universal, right?"
Yeah.
Because they were part of the same clique, and everyone, it was one of those where it was like so obvious in hindsight, but everyone was just like, no, they were part of the same faction.
Yeah, of course they can't do this. Of course they can't.
They weren't really laying the seeds for like the split yet. They were still like all in together,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still use, by the way, that picture of Randy Orton in front of the big fire, the Abigail firehouse, where he's just posing. I use that for so much stuff still. It's like still my favorite joke. At work, we were doing a big conversion thing, and they're like, hey, what happened to all the equipment we were supposed to get back? And I just sent them that picture. Randy Orton in front of a fire posing. So good. Such a good utility. But I'm super excited with where we're at with it. I think this is awesome. And I feel like that for whatever reason, the WrestleMania match, because they were using all those weird projections, it almost didn't quite live up to what we thought it could be. And I would say already this has been more than that. This has been bigger than that.
Yes. No, like, I feel like like Bray Wyatt at that time was really like, this has him and Randy all over it. I feel like there wasn't the investment there, like, in them. I don't know what they did to get the investment there. Like, hey, let me really truly do this. But whatever is happening now, like, thank you for seeing it through. Thank you for letting this become what it could be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited for TLC when it comes to the stuff that's going on Raw right now. And I think SmackDown too, but I guess we get a SmackDown before TLC, so we'll see how that plays out. Let's see, there's only like a couple things I want to say real quick. I just saw this came in 53 minutes ago on Impact Wrestling's Twitter. We're going to get Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Gun at Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. It's gonna be
Okay, so we
January
are
16th.
just doing Bullet Club again. Cool.
Yep, Bullet Club against Impact guys. That means that none of their titles are going to be in contention because they'll be wrapped up in this. Because Good Brothers are the tag title champions. Rich Swann is the world title champion. So we'll do a 3-on-3, and no title is up for grabs. So love it.
Boy, this better be an amazing 3-on-3.
It might be, and it might be.
I mean,
so I hope that it is.
I get cautious with them doing this because in NJPW, you use tag matches as a way to build up single storylines, and that's where Bullet Club originated. So thinking of Bullet Club, which is what they're aiming for, I'm like, a tag match ain't going to be good. If you're doing this on pay-per-view, it needs to be something. I mean, you could have done this on TV, and that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This sounds like a main event on SmackDown.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I'm interested in it, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Let's see. The only other thing I was going to say. Let's see. We got the other thing. Kev, you know what we did last time because of all these rumors about Goldberg coming back and facing Roman and these other bullshit rumors about fake WrestleMania matches that were already on the books, so to speak, that we think are just bullshit. We were making up our own WrestleMania matches that were fake and we're going to say is an actual leak. What's your made-up WrestleMania match that's definitely happening?
Well, one of the things I did see is, people have been talking about The Rock and Roman.
Mm-hmm.
And, we talked about it before. And it was weird because somebody asked Arn Anderson, I guess he's got a podcast or he was on some show or something like that about it. And I guess The Rock basically said the same thing where this is not a match that you book when there's no crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're making up ones.
Kind of went, yeah. Well, I was just going to throw that out there because I know we talked about Rock and Roman before.
Yeah.
But making up one that might be factual and shooting in the dark like wrestling reporters or just...
Doesn't have to be, no.
Sting versus Undertaker type of thing.
Oh, shit. I mean, AEW's got Sting on that massive contract now.
I think mine was Drew Galloway wrestling with the point of his title run.
Yeah, that might be part of it.
I don't know. Just a WrestleMania match I'd like to see. Yeah, Sting and Undertaker.
All right,
obviously.
Sting and Undertaker. It's happening.
Undertaker.
Leak, Stundertaker.
Double.
It's going to be the first time AEW works with WWE. It's going to be amazing. Guys, I think I'm ready for last call. Are you?
Boom.
Well, you didn't let me finish. It's going to be Scott Hall.
Scott Hall as Sting. Painted up. Guys, I love breaking down this stuff and getting through it and finding out that we're all getting worked, and that's the whole fucking point. I think I'm ready for last call. Are you guys?
Yeah.
Check us out, WrestlingOnTheRocks.com. Find us at WOTR The Show on Twitter. I am at Ref Marsh. That is Crybaby Clump and Kevlar on the Rocks.
Crybaby Crump.
Crybaby Clump.
With an eggs.
Guys, that's the last call. Cheers.
Cheers.
Y'all have a good night.